It's that time again. Welcome to the stage. Oh yeah. Where energy and creativity collide. Here we go. Let's level up. Make this something to remember. All right.
Hello everybody and welcome to week 4 of NACE Star League. We are here with some collegiate Super Smash Brothers Ultimate action. It has been a hot 3 weeks prior to this, and honestly today is looking to be even hotter. I'm Mies and I'm here alongside Dak. We are going to be your casters for today's event. Dak, how are you feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm feeling great because it's another Thursday of Collegiate Smash. Love to sit down and talk some Smash Crews with you. And yeah, as the season's going on, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season, to those playoffs, to those conference play-ins, to the LCQ, to all of that good stuff, to the finals, of course. And we have some awesome teams here for us tonight. 4 teams, 2 matches, a bunch of crews, and a bunch of players filling up those crews to give us some awesome Collegiate Smash action.
And we are going to quickly break down the season format for those who are unfamiliar. We are currently in the regular season, 8 weeks of action that will lead to the conference play-in and to eventually the conference championship, and then into the last chance qualifiers for those who didn't quite make it in, and finally the playoffs, which will eventually lead to the grand finals to determine who the best collegiate Smash crew is. It's going to be a very, very intense last few weeks, damn near halfway through the regular season already, Dak. I cannot believe it. And today's matchup, match number 1, we're going to have Oakland University against Siena Heights University. And on the second match of the day, it will be Central Michigan University up against the undefeated Northwood University. We were talking earlier about how we felt about some of these teams. And I'm honestly thinking, like, we saw Northwood's roster. They have Sensational, and if you're unfamiliar with Sensational, top-tier Falcon, one of the best Falcons to be in the game right now. So that's going to be a really, really hard call, or a really hard ask for Central Michigan to be able to overcome that. But on the other match, Oakland University, we kind of saw a little bit of what their team is potentially going to be. Ken, Kazuya, Lucina, and Pac-Man potentially on that team, and that is a deadly 4-character lineup if that ends up being the lineup.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see that. And of course, these teams are playing at the end of the day for those big scholarship prizes, as you can see below. 2K for first, 1K for second, and of course 500 for third place. So there's money on the line, there's scholarships on the line here. They're not just playing for bragging rights, and they're not just playing for clout. And of course, it is all brought to you by Extra Life. Make sure to try out their support in Extra Life. We're playing games to change kids' health and change the future, so make sure you join Extra Life today. You can check them out at extralife.org. And of course, all of our awesome sponsors here as well. We have tons of them. Extra Life, Corsair, Monster, BetterHelp, Duncan, and Mavix. And we're all here for Smash Collegiate Crews. Teams of 4 competing in a crew battle, classic crew battle style, because stocks carry over for each match. And there's a best of 3 that'll be playing for both series on these teams of 4. So we have a lot of action. We've seen these matches get close to going the distance. I don't think we've had a third game just yet, but they've been close. And I think that's something that, we should definitely talk about today, is that the scoreboard doesn't tell the whole story. We've seen a lot of 2-0s for these teams, but they are very, very close matches. They're going down to the wire. They're going down to the last players here. And certainly it's hard to necessarily know what to expect as we jump into week 4. Here are our rosters. We have Oakland University on the left, Werble Nerfer, Spectral, Trisket, and Poison Jam up against Siena Heights University, Uni, Buzze, Joe Shark, and Velvet. We have kind of an idea here, Mies, as you kind of talked about previously, of what we might expect from these players character-wise, but of course we won't know until they jump into the lobby and get into those games.
And one thing I wanted to touch on, a common theme that we've seen the last 2 weeks is oftentimes we'll see a team get completely blown up in the first round, in the first set, and then make a lot of adjustments in that second set to make it closer. But like you said, we haven't quite gotten to like a game three, a game that's going to go the distance. But you know what? Between these 2-1 teams, this might finally be the set where we see a game three. Maybe we see a game three, last stock, last character, last hit situation. Finally, because again, tournaments have been a little bit derived of those close matches up to this point.
Absolutely. And actually, all four of these teams here tonight are all from Michigan. So all of these teams are kind of been playing each other here. Oakland, the 2-0 wins against Aquinas and Davenport, and then losing 2-0 to Michigan Tech. Siena Heights, they have a 2-0 loss to Northwood, who's playing in our second game of the night, and then beat Central Michigan, who is also playing in our second game of the night, and Purdue U Fort Wayne. So all these teams are all playing each other. This is an East 1 conference matchup for both of these matches tonight, and they're all four of them are Michigan teams. So that's actually, I think, the first time we've had here on the broadcast where all four teams are from the same state. Of course, Michigan is still pretty sizable in terms of, you know, geography wise. It's still pretty large, but these teams are all from that same state, all from the same region. And a lot of these players do go to similar tournaments and go to, you know, majors in their respective areas. A lot of them actually recently attending Riptide, and then of course, even though it's not super close by, but SmashCon as well is one of their most recent majors. So it's exciting to see that. We have some really big teams here in Michigan, and we're going to check out these predictions. Now, we made these predictions before the broadcast here, and as you can see, we're kind of leaning to Oakland already, Mies.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of leaning to Oakland. We did a little bit of research. We think we kind of have a good sense of where they might go character-wise, and as soon as I saw that they potentially had a Kazuya on the team, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with them. And then we might be seeing again potentially Kazuya, Pac-Man, Lucina, and Ken. Potentially, we might be wrong about that. We couldn't quite find who Siena Heights was playing. Possibly a Palu, possibly a Mii Brawler, but we will see. But yeah, we were both leaning towards Oakland University, and I think we kind of had the same reasoning. Why? Just on paper, those four characters. I feel like if Ken is the worst character on your team, then you know, maybe you're doing okay. But we saw those four characters, and we're just on paper, we think that's a really solid 4-character lineup.
Yeah, I mean, learnings from last week, right? Aside from set scores don't, you know, tell the whole story here. Even these records, 2-1, really don't tell you the whole story behind these teams. But I think one of the things that we honestly learned really well, which is, of course, you see a lot in these crew battles, is having a deep bench and a character pool that's pretty sizable pays off, right? And when we're looking at a team that potentially is playing, you know, a Pac-Man, a Lucina, a Ken, a Kazuya against a team who maybe has a Mewtwo, and maybe has like a Mii Brawler, which to be fair, Mii Brawler like Palo can actually do some damage. Like that's how we're kind of, you know, tanking the angle on these teams, is what are they bringing to the table in terms of players and their characters. Not only that, Werble Nerfer and Trisket just recently got 193rd at Riptide, pretty decent results at, you know, SmashCon as well. So like these are players that are not just doing well in their region, but also making, you know, getting some decent results and getting somewhat far in the bracket at majors, which have almost the entire community coming out to. So that's what we kind of factor in when we're looking at this. And of course, we also want to remember, and you know, this is thinking back to our interview with Worm Hero from LCU last week, having confidence in your anchor, right? Not just to play well, to make good decisions. We're certainly going to be, you know, keeping an eye out for that. Like which players are going to come in first to do the massive damage right out the gate and take 7 stocks twice in a row, which we saw last week. And then having your anchor player in the back, not only as your, you know, anchor player wise, you know, skill wise, but also a character that has a really good matchup spread. So you're not locked in, you know, worked into a corner matchup wise when you're getting into your final stocks as a team.
And I think one more key kind of factor that an anchor or like a best player has to have is, aside from Smash, they need to have that kind of calming demeanor. You look at them and you're like, you know what? Every time, I know if I have this person on my team, we have a chance to win. And we talked to Worm Hero last week, and I definitely got that vibe speaking with them last week. Just, I see you and I know you're here. Regardless if we're down 3, 4, 5 stocks, I know you're here and I feel like we have a chance. So I'm just really curious and excited to see who that player ends up being on each of these teams. I think on Northwood, we're both kind of in agreement that might be sensational, but on every other team, we're just kind of going to wait and see who that anchor, that not just in-game anchor, but just outside of the game, emotional, mental anchor is for these teams too. And one thing I wanted to talk about as well, you mentioned that all of these teams are from Michigan. a region that I feel like since Ultimate has began has gotten very much overlooked. Back in Smash 4 in the olden days, I feel like it was a region that got a lot of attention, had a lot of strong players coming out of it. But now with Ultimate just becoming even bigger than Smash 4 was, and even more popular, Wi-Fi being a much more, I guess, used avenue in this game, we have so much talent that I feel like Michigan often kind of gets thrown into kind of the wind. Everyone wants to talk about Tri-State and Florida and Georgia and California, rightfully so. But I really feel like Michigan is a very, very deep, talented state that just never gets talked about.
No, you're definitely right, and I think it's easy to forget that too, especially, which is surprising because there are some pretty sizable tournaments in that area, right? Yep. And I mean, I'm thinking about like Frostbite almost immediately in the Michigan area. Big House. That's coming up next weekend. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of good tournaments there that I think you immediately think of your Smash Cons, you think of your Genesises, you think of, now Apex is back of all tournaments, right?
Know, right?
So it's easy to kind of forget those, Midwest events, but a lot of people obviously attend them and they do pop off. So it's, definitely a deep regional pool there from these players. Excited to see what, they have to offer. But of course, Northwood in like our second matchup, for example, is a school that will pull players from many different regions, right? And not necessarily from like the Michigan area. And of course, a lot of these collegiate schools have students traveling in wherever they're going to be. It looks like we're going to be jumping into our first game here to kick things off, and it will be Spectral jumping in for for Oakland here, I believe. For Trisket for Siena Heights, and then we have Uni here for Oakland.
And Uni rocking the Isabella, character that you definitely don't see very, very often at all in any form. In singles, in crew battles, stuff like that. Not the best character at taking stocks, and being one of the lighter characters in the game. Quick to lose them as well, and in the crew battle, every single stock matters. How you win matters just as much as if you win. And as we're seeing right here, Uni's kind of getting worked a little bit by this Pac-Man from Trisket.
Yeah, this is a matchup where both of these characters can really play the same game here. Like, obviously, Zoner is going to be playing a ranged game if they can. I would say Pac-Man has the edge, though, right? Like, there's just so much utility you get out of all these different, items that he can throw out. But really, I think the Hydrant makes such a huge difference, especially in close quarters. And then Pac-Man just has really solid kill power, as you see right there. Uni losing their first stock to Trisket, who's still at 59%.
And 59% on a Pac-Man is not really a good percentage if you're the opponent, because now they're healthy enough where they don't have to worry about you KOing them, especially for Isabel, who doesn't have much early KO power. And now, since Pac-Man has the lead, they can opt to play a bit more defensively. They don't have to approach you as much, and you're forced to kind of fight through the big wall of projectiles and fire hydrants and bells and everything that you want to get tossed at you, like we're seeing right here. This really looks like Uni is struggling. I don't even think Trisket's been touched this stock. I don't want to jinx it, though.
No, you're right. It just gets still sitting at 59%. This could be a 0 to death right here, and gets caught on the get-up attack. A down smash. Not going to have the bell to follow up with, but look at this. The back air connects. Again, the Hydra going to make it hard for the jump to come in. Forces the roll. The get-up wouldn't have worked either. Really great setup there. And now Trisket with a 2-stock lead.
So, and yeah, the Trisket right there just getting off to a, again, hot start. Barely, only at 83% on the first stock right now. Uni just looking lost almost, unable to get anything going. A lot of stray hits here, and the one thing Trisket has been doing a fantastic job of is just taking away the airspace that Isabel wants. Both Villager and Isabel, they like to jump. They need to jump around to kind of get a lot of their good stuff going. Trisket is fully aware of that and is just using the bell, the fire hydrant, and all the tools that Pac-Man has to just do a fantastic job of taking away that airspace.
Yeah, I really think the difference here is that Isabel can't really do solid damage against Pac-Man outside of like her forward air or back air at that medium like range, right? Whereas Pac-Man can send out, the bell to connect. You can have the Galaga, you have the key, the apple, but then also you can send the hydrant flying. Oh, almost dying off the top there is Uni, and Trisket in a position here to potentially get the 3-stock and hold on to a full. I mean, we're going to see 7 stocks in a row to kick things off for your Mies. We're already starting here. The bell gets pocketed by Uni. Finally, a little bit of a life there, but Trisket in massive control of this stock, massive control of this game, looking to clean things up without losing the stock, which would be an absolutely huge boon here for Siena Heights up against Oakland.
Once again, everyone, if you're unfamiliar with the crew battle format, the amount of stocks you have at the end of the match does matter. So if Triscuit can manage to hang on to this one, like they're doing a pretty good job of doing, it is going to be huge, like Dax said, going into game 2, and that's likely going to be it for Uni, going down 3-0 to Triscuit with that Pac-Man. Honestly, not much to say. That was just domination from the word go from Triscuit.
Yeah, that was that was what was he cooking, right? Like that was just some crazy outplay right there. Triscuit completely holding on to that matchup with really relative ease, right? Like just setting up the wall, keeping things active on the game, on the stage, which you need to do as Pac-Man. Love this setup again, by the way. The get up and jump really would have been hindered by that hydrant, and then just the response there by Triscuit paying off with dividends there. Oakland, I believe, taking a nice little lead over Sienna to start things off. So Sienna now down to their 3 players remaining, and we weren't sure what Uni was going to go. Now we know, obviously, it's the Isabel.
Yep.
We think that Buzze has a Palutena. We think Joe Shark is a Meat Brawler. We think Velvet is maybe a Mewtwo. So, again, one of those things where, like, we have solid information on some players and not as solid information on others, and we're always willing to be, you know, and ready to be pleasantly surprised. So I'm excited to see what happens. But considering like what the characters we know, let's say it is Palutena or Meat Brawler or Mewtwo. Personally, I feel like you bring in the Palu, right? Because Meat Brawler or Mewtwo, I think, are going to have a ton of trouble getting in on a Pac-Man.
Meat Brawler especially not the best at dealing with projectiles, and we saw Triscuit phenomenal with their projectile placement. Palutena, a lot of people like to call Palutena the, I don't want, kind of like a bit of a gatekeeper. Bit of a gatekeeper character, characters that enjoy to kind of play a awkward style of Smash, like Pac-Man likes to do. Palutena is known for kind of just beating those characters outright. Again, at least on paper. So again, if I am Sienna Heights and if I'm Buzze and I'm going in next, and they do play Palutena, I really think that's definitely the best option to go. Brawler, I think at this point in time, just I don't see it going better than the Isabel match did with Uni.
It is interesting, though, because Triscuit was played first here. We're thinking, like, let's say, I mean, Triscuit hasn't lost a stock, so we're not sure when that's going to happen yet. But assuming it does, and Triscuit loses not only a stock, but 3 stocks, we're looking at a Ken and a Kazuya and a Lucina, potentially, for the last 3 characters in that team. So, polarizing kind of matchup spread there, because on one hand, like, all those 3 characters, especially Ken and Kazuya, can, I mean, absolutely blow up almost any character on the roster if you don't know what you're doing, especially Kazuya. On the other hand, they can all kind of get zoned out. And if you know those matchups and you know you can keep them at disadvantage, you might have trouble against a Palutena. You might, you know, I think the thing is that Sienna Heights doesn't necessarily have the character pool that would make that happen. If they were full of zoners, if they had, you know, obviously Steve, but if they had like the Pac-Man still, they haven't used it yet, Triscuit's gonna be right there. But like if they have a bunch of other zoning characters that can just play super slow and don't have to approach it and keep, you know, a lot of space between them and, you know, a character that can combo you with one touch, that's really where those characters start to have a problem there in neutral. And outside of Triscuit, Oakland doesn't really have other outside of Isabel, I would say like Sienna Heights doesn't really have, and like Palutena, those are really your options, right? Like, to deal with like Kazuya and a Ken. So we'll see how they can kind of dig into this bench to keep Oakland on their toes.
Yeah, again, just looking at this potential character roster, I really feel like, again, with the exception of Palutena, like you said, Brawler and Mewtwo, basically if those characters get touched by Kazuya, that's the stock. If, you know, assuming the Kazuya doesn't drop the combo, especially Mewtwo having that massive hitbox on the tail, being one of the lighter characters in the game. I just feel like on a matchup, even if it's against Ken, not even just Kazuya, no matter where they go character-wise, I don't see it going too well for them. But maybe the players themselves are just all god tier and will, you know, and they'll shut us up very, very soon. Either way, we're going right into this game too, and it is the Palutena coming in. I definitely agree with that pick there. So that Palutena coming in, Buzze on Sienna Heights, definitely the optimal choice. Like we both kind of touched to, Palutena is really good at stuffing out characters that like to play an awkward style. But with the way Triscuit was playing in that early match, Triscuit might just be a god.
Yeah, this is really do or die here for Sienna, because if they just have the Palutena to deal with this and their remaining characters like Mewtwo and Meat Brawler, like this Pac-Man might run through this entire team. But Buzz already a really great start. This is exactly what you need. A character that can deal with this nonsense that a zoner and high item user like Pac-Man can use, but also can combo at low percent. So when you get that touch, you can get a lot off of it. Isabelle, not really a character that has those like low percent, mid percent combos. Meanwhile, look at this. I mean, Buzz is just doing a phenomenal job here to turn the tables here on Trisket, who had such a huge lead and huge start at the beginning. But still, with that said, Trisket keeping in line, keeping up here, and potentially could still take this first stock.
And that's like just the power of Palutena, just a slow, methodical character, not quite explosive, can't do the crazy damage combos like, like a Pac-Man can do. Just slow and methodical. You get hit with a couple nairs, a couple forward airs, or even, hey, maybe a forward smash from Pac-Man. Yeah, as we see Trisket take that stock. But yeah, Palutena, just a character that's just slow and methodical, very fundamentally sound. Like I said, you're not going to see too much explosiveness coming through the character, other than that explosive flame.
Really?
But yeah, definitely able to get back into matches. But with the way Trisket is playing right now, once again, might just be on God mode. I think Trisket woke up.
So Trisket, has been up nice. Hits the side B. That's going to land. I was going to say, one thing that Palutena really does struggle with historically is finishing kills, right? Like, Palutena can play that, like, slow but steady, get damage and rack damage up on you game. But once you get the high percent and you fall out of nair combos, and you're not necessarily going to be landing on the nairs either, sometimes Palu can have some trouble finishing stocks. So for Buzze to get that stock in pretty, sooner rather than later was certainly critical, because now Palutena can certainly work back. A character that doesn't have as much trouble as others from working from behind, but look at that. Trisket going all the way down, and look at this edge guard game right here. Goes for two, goes for the grab, and obviously Buzze is going to avoid that, catch it, and get out of the way, but Trisket already taking a substantial lead on this stock. Might be able to clean things up as 123 is the percent here for Buzze. The side B lands again, but Trisket still in a position here with the stage control to get this next kill.
And honestly, if Trisket can kind of take this stock from Buzze and kind of be at a percent less than 100, I think the chance of them coming out of this with both of those stocks intact is definitely not, it isn't too bad. Isn't too bad at all, but I think you got to stay under 100, under 110 while you take the stock. This back throw might do it. Yes, there we go. Bit of some suspect DI right there. But at 90%, I really think it's possible for Trisket to come away with 2 stocks in this match if they do end up getting the victory.
I think you're right. I think 2 stocks here for Trisket is probably likely. Going for the knockdown into grab. Doesn't land it here. 112. I mean, Pac-Man still has some decent weight to him, too. And with Palu, you're not going to be able to follow up. Looks for the jab lock. Doesn't get it. Rolled out just in time. And now Trisket going down. Gets hit with the counter still. Negates that as the side B just goes right by it. But Buzze now trying to, you can see how much Buzze is willing to go off stage here, because they know any missed opportunity to get the kill could potentially leave Trisket with 2 stocks, with still a massive lead here for Oakland, which of course Siena Heights does not want to have.
And here's what you talked about earlier. Palutena's so good at racking on damage, but with the exception of back air that we all know is coming, just really struggles to get that KO. We see the explosive flames coming out right on cue. The explosive flame come out right on cue, getting that KO. But the problem is you let Trisket linger for a little bit too long on high percent, and in a crew battle, again, where every single stock matters, you need to take that stock as soon as you can, as Trisket gets the bell into forward smash combo, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks for Trisket.
We were just saying, are we going to start off with another 7 stock gain here at the beginning of a match? If you're watching last week, we had it happen twice, where the first player taking 7 stocks before they go down, and Trisket is on the verge of doing that as well. We might see it 3 times in a row here, Mies. I wouldn't be surprised, because Trisket is just putting on a clinic right now. We talked about these explosive flames here. They were pretty crucial, because they got both kills here for our Palutena player. But then look at this, the nice back air. I mean, 140, I think they were going to probably die anyway, but yeah. Maybe the DI could have been a bit better. Nonetheless, Trisket, setting Oakland up for success. And now with the Palu and the Isabelle out of the way, what's really left for Siena Heights to do against this Pac-Man except, have a hope and a prayer and try to get rid of this stock as soon as they can?
I have no idea what's up next for Siena Heights, but all I got to say is whoever takes Trisket out, I do not want to be in their shoes, because they will have to run the gauntlets of Kazuya, Ken, Lucina. And those are three characters that will take your stock. If you get touched anywhere above 20, your stock is probably forfeit in a lot of scenarios with those characters. Lucina maybe not as much, but still three characters that are fantastic at taking stocks out really, really quickly. None of them are really too light either. So, you know, they have a bit more survivability than the characters that we have left over on Sienna Heights. But yeah, whoever comes in after whoever takes Trisket out, I do not want to be in their shoes.
No, I don't either. And this is, I mean, you were talking about this earlier, how teams will maybe get stomped a little bit the first game, but then they go into the second series of the best of three, the second set rather, and they make some adjustments character-wise, they make some adjustments lineup-wise, and they end up doing better. So who knows? Sienna, now they know that they have to deal with this Pac-Man, right?
Yeah.
193rd at Riptide, really, you know, pretty solid local results. And they still have Werble in the background. They still have Spectral. They still have Poison Gem. Like, there's still a deep bench here for open. But Sienna at least now knows, like, okay, like, we need to have an answer to this Pac-Man almost immediately. But now that's the game of crew battles. Like, Oakland knows that. They're like, oh, they're going to probably address this Pac-Man early. We might not need to put the Pac-Man in immediately. Or we do and just kind of keep that in mind. It's like that back and forth, that, you know, chemi there of what you're going to do to my response, to your response, to my response, to your response. And Oakland right now is absolutely in full control of this series as we jump into our next matchup here of this first set. It'll be game 3 as Trisket will be starting off as the Pac-Man with a single stock to their name. And there's the Mewtwo coming out, so that will be Velvet jumping in, which means Joe Shark will be the anchor here as the Mii Brawler. I mean, Mewtwo Mii Brawler. Not exactly the character pool you want matchup-wise here. And with Pac-Man, a character that can do some solid damage to both of these characters and keep them out, but we'll see. Velvet might surprise us. I'm excited to see how this Mewtwo has to offer.
And yeah, and between the two characters, I really do think Mewtwo is the better choice. You got the Reflector, you got Disable, you got a bit more range than Mii Brawler. You are a lot lighter though, Mewtwo being one of the lighter characters in the game, so you are going to get KO'd early, unfortunately, as we see that Reflector right there. But one thing about Mewtwo, I think is a very underrated character, definitely has some weaknesses, but this character has a lot of sauce, has a lot of kill power, and in the right hands, went for the Disable, that's cheeky, and in the right hands, this is a very, very dangerous character potentially.
Yeah, I mean, that Confusion's a massive tool Mewtwo needs to be using, of course. You have Shadow Ball, which you want to be using as well. And, I mean, at this point, what you need to keep in mind is not just the weight, but Mewtwo's tall, right? So, like, these early percent combos, Pac-Man's going to get them going. That lightness, though, might come in handy, at least at some percent. This down air is going to be, you know, hard for Velvet to deal with. And they'll have that. I mean, that's the nice thing about Confusion, too, though, is that it really does nullify Hydrant, because it is quick enough to deal with Hydrant. But still, the neutral B items that Pac-Man has will be able to come out quick enough. The trampoline responds on the down air. Nice placement. And unfortunately, Velvet wishes they had that one back. The Disable lands. Oh, no, the Disable comes out, but the side B from Trisket, they're turned away. And Loud just kept their back to him.
And that's stock number 7 for Trisket. Dak, this is again, third week in a row, second week in a row, we've seen someone come out and take 7 stocks off the bat. No one's gotten 8 yet. No one's hit 8. No one's hit 8. Trisket might, though.
I think it's 2 weeks in a row, but 3 sets in a row. It happened,
there we go.
Twice last week, and now we have it for our first matchup here. It's a pattern. Oh, that Disable getting very close here and lands in the air, so it's not going to get the stun. And again, the down air actually sends them up flying, but the trampoline was there in case the spike landed. Trisket at 117 right here. Got the Master Chief percent. And we have Velvet at 75, which if this bell lands, I mean, this is still scary percent here for Mewtwo. They're getting close to kill percent.
I'm just waiting to see, and that stock number 8, and that is officially Nate Star League Fall Season 2022 record. That is 8 stocks coming through.
Oh no! No way!
Yo, end it, and run, just give them the money. Hey, just give them the money.
Bruh.
Hey,
Trisket has taken 9 stocks in a row. 9 stocks in a row.
Oakland, if y'all end up winning the entire thing, please give Trisket like a bigger cut of the 2K, because that was insane. That was 9 stocks. And what percentage did you get Mewtwo at? Like 20 something?
That was crazy. I think it was like 40 or 50 there. This is the second stock, that forward smash landing very clean. I was like, oh, Mewtwo's about to be at kill percent. They are at kill percent. And then look at this. Starts off, it is a touch of death right there. Yeah, you're right, 20%. Wow.
26%.
Wow.
Getting hit off the side like that, and now Sienna Heights is only left with Joe Shark potentially playing a meat brawler. And look, I know we're not supposed to like cheer for anybody, but I want to see Trisket sweep the team. I want to see it. The fan in me wants to see Trisket sweep the team. Okay.
Honestly, I don't. In my years of casting Collegiate Smash, doing crews, I don't think I've ever seen a single player beat an entire team. We've gotten close. This is definitely one of the closest, if not the closest. I mean, 9 stocks. 9 stocks
out of 12.
Pac-Man out of 12.
And they still have Kazi on the team.
Yeah, this is Sienna is looking dire straits right here. Oakland looking solid. This might be a quick one here, Muse.
And they still have Kazuya, Lucina, and Ken waiting in the wings, potentially.
Wow.
So, Joe Shark, Godspeed, good luck. I hope you ate your breakfast this morning. I hope you had a nice jog. I hope you exercised and stretched, because you are going to need everything to really stand a chance here. But you know what? This is just set 1. This is just set 1. We've seen shifts in set 2. We've seen people get blown up immediately, lose by 8-9 stocks, and then bring it back into a couple character switches, couple order switches, and who goes first, who goes second, etc., and be able to bring it back and not quite win, but kind of close that gap from like 8 stocks to like 2 stocks. So don't count Sienna Heights out just yet, even though this first game is probably over, but not realistically. Don't count them out yet. We might see some adjustments in game 2.
Joe Shark needs to be Trisket right here. Like, I'm not going to count anyone out, but I mean, it's brawler.
Wait,
what?
It's the Minecraft pig skin.
I was like, wait, is this Steve? I don't remember this skin.
It's the Minecraft.
Okay. Wow. How is this legal? This skin should not be allowed in the game.
That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Right? I can't believe this. Oh my god.
Oh no, not again.
Not again. Deja.
We're not doing this again. We're not doing this again. That's
steals
10.
away another stock.
That's 10.
That is 10 stocks in a row for Trisket. That has to be a Collegiate Smash record. No way!
You're not doing
this. Does this happen again?
Trisket, stop.
Does this happen again?
Trisket, stop. Trisket, stop. Trisket, stop. Trisket, this is not funny anymore. This is not funny anymore.
Dominating. I mean, this is looking like Trisket is literally 1 stock away from taking 12 stocks. The entire team, with just 3 stocks for Pac-Man, they are on 11 stocks taken right now, and they're about to start taking the lead on this one.
Trisket, this is not funny anymore. Give them let them think they have a chance to win, please. Make it exciting for the viewers, okay? This is ridiculous. This is about to be a 12 stock. A 12 stock? That's game. No, I lied. If that went the other way, that would have been game. Yeah. This is about to be a 12 stock, man. Well, Trisket looking kind of like a Ritz cracker right now. A little bit better.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, though. All right, these balls are landing, and it hits again, and that's gonna kill. And the ace is stolen. Joe Shark does finally take out Trisket, who just had to have set a Collegiate Smash crew record. 11 stocks taken in a single crew battle. How often do you see that? Trisket, the Pac-Man, the one-player army, the one-pack army out here, taking 11 stocks and putting Sienna Heights to their final stock with just a single character.
And the single character, if this was Kazuya, I'd be like, you know what, sure, Kazuya taking out 12 stocks, cool. If this was like a Steve taking out 12 stocks, it's Pac-Man, a very, very good character, but not a character you expect to just be rolling over this many people in this fashion. Again, a fantastic character, but like 11 stocks. And those 2 stocks he took in that fashion as well. Not even crazy stuff, just I'm gonna just kind of nick you off stage and just come back because I know you're me, bro, and you can't come back anyway. But that, I don't have words. Nothing. I got nothing.
It's something that definitely steals your breath away to watch a player like that just playing so dominantly, so consistently, so confidently. Just immaculate play there from Trisket. 11 stocks in a row, making it look easy with Pac-Man and putting Oakland into position to take this first set with a massive, incredibly massive lead.
I don't know, once again, adjustments can be made in set 2, so don't count Sienna Heights University out just yet. But, I have to think, just mentally, the toll that being basically swept by one person has to take on you, and how that may affect them going into the next set. And on the other hand, from Oakland University, do I just send Trisket in again? You know, at the beginning of game 2, because they clearly, again, no offense, they clearly have not been able to stop him up until this point. Do I just send Trisket in again and just kind of assert my dominance over Siena Heights University, or do I let someone else get a bit of a chance to play a little bit and know that you have Trisket kind of sitting in the background? And the crazy thing about Oakland is we don't even know if Trisket's their best player.
Right.
That's the crazy thing. They still have 3 players we have not seen yet, so this might be their second or third best player for all we know.
That's honestly one of the things about these crew battles, that yeah, they might be their starter, but are they, you know, their best player? You're absolutely right. And we have now Spectral coming out here, the Lucina, which means we have the Ken and the Kazuya waiting in the wings if they're even needed. Look at this lead, 9-1 for Oakland. Joe Shark has, I mean, look, Trisket did it with 3 stocks. And Joe Stark needs one, a chip and a chair, a stock and a dream right here.
It's a very, very big dream.
Can Joe Stark do it?
Man, I don't want to doubt anybody, but it's going to be a hard ask, especially against Lucina, a very, very solid character. And we saw what Trisket did in that last game against Joe Shark. All you really need to do against me Brawler is just push them off the stage horizontally, eat their jump, and their stock is essentially forfeit at that point. And Lucina's a really good. Lucina is a character that does a fantastic job at pushing people horizontally as well, with that forward air, with that back air, neutral air as well. Has a lot of really good offstage options. Forward smash at the ledge is another really good option too. And yeah, just push them horizontally off the stage. Really good high recovery there from Joe Shark. Doesn't want to get gimped again, but okay, does manage to make it back. But just at the ledge this entire time for what seems like 30 seconds or so, just at this ledge, unable to really get anything off on Spectral.
No, this is right now Spectral commanding here, and it's nice, you know, having the Lucina versus like a Martha Roy, for example. You don't need as much precision against a character that, a Mii Brawler that can win scrambles very often. Lucina just needs to swing, doesn't necessarily have to land the tippers or the close edge strikes. So with that in mind, Lucina can really keep the pressure on. And that up B on stage, that should be it. No.
Oh, no,
has a side B. But the reverse up B lands.
Okay.
Again, still can't do it. Joe Shark with 39, but I mean, a massive, almost Mount Everest-sized hill to climb here. The mountain is crazy, and at this point, Joe Shark left reeling as Oakland wins 9-0 in the first set of this best-of-3 series.
9-0 and basically a gentleman's sweep for the entire for Trisket there. That was basically all Trisket. Obviously Spectral came through and did exactly what they needed to do, clean up that last stock. But in terms of kind of breaking that set down, there's honestly not much to say other than Siena Heights just did not know what to do against Pac-Man, did not know what to do against Trisket, and Trisket knew exactly how to play against each of the 4 characters that Siena Heights University has: Palutena, Isabel, Brawler, and Mewtwo. And one thing we actually touched upon right at the beginning when we were kind of sort of talking about what characters they might be playing is we both kind of agreed that that character roster is definitely very not the most optimal, I guess is the best way I can say it. I really feel like you don't have that one character that's like, you know, that you can fall back on, kind of like a Kazuya or a Ken or a Lucina or something like that. But either way, we are going to have set number 2 coming up right after this short break, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody, to the NA Star League 2022 fall season. We're here for week 4, and we are here for a crazy matchup between Oakland University and Siena Heights University, where we just saw a Pac-Man take 11 stocks in a row. Trisket doing crazy work to kick things off for Oakland. A very, very swift victory for them in the first set. And now as we go into the second set, we're going to see a rematch between the first two players here. We have Uni coming back in here for Siena, and then Oakland starting off again with Trisket. However, this time Uni is starting off with Game & Watch instead of Isabel. So a slight shift, like we've been talking about, characters changing when need be. But Trisket, 11 stocks in a row. Can they break the record? Can they match it? What can they do to kick things off here for the second set?
It would be fantastic if they did get 12. I would probably lose my damn mind, but you know what? I want to see some good smash. I want to see a close set. I want to see Siena Heights fight back. Because you know what? Here's the thing. It's easy to feel good when you're up. It's easy to play well when you're up, but I really feel like the way, or the thing that separates like good players and good teams from great teams is just like, how do you play when you're down? How do you play when you're facing adversity? You just got honestly kind of embarrassed in that first set. How do you play when you're down? And I really feel like that's going to be the true test for Siena Heights right here, as we see, like you said, that switch to Game & Watch. Definitely a much better choice. Oh god, jeez. Definitely a much better choice than Isabel. But man, that little grab with the fire hydrant there was crazy.
I mean, if you missed Trisket in that previous set, it was like missing Kane at the 2001 Royal Rumble or Brock Lesnar at the 2020 Royal Rumble. Like someone who just comes in and gets almost every elimination, knocking everybody out. Like that's what Trisket was. Trisket was essentially Roman Reigns in 2014. Like the absolutely crazy performance. And now though, we're seeing a much different shift. I mean, the Game & Watch already is a character that can really give it right back to Pac-Man, but also has the defense to keep things at bay. And look at this, a really solid start here. Already might be shifting the tone here for Siena Heights.
Yeah, definitely a much better character than Isabel as well. On the lighter side, I believe it's like, what, the fourth lightest character or third lightest character in the game, so you don't have that survivability. Well, you have way more KO power and a lot more, I guess, cheese, for lack of a better word, than Isabel does. You have, obviously, the bucket that acts as a reflector. You have, no one really uses it, but you do have that. You do have that side B, that Judgment Hammer. That's also a tool too. You got up B out of shield. You got down smash. You have so many tools that Game & Watch has that Isabel doesn't really. But I don't really think Trisket cares because they are one back air away from taking the stock right now.
Yeah, that reflector is, or the bucket is really going to be the key point here, because Uni is now obviously using that to reflect the hydrant or reflect any keys, apples, bells, melons, etc. But Trisket knows that and is trying to bait out the bucket to land grabs and to land neutral airs and forward airs and down airs. So Trisket still has that kind of mental advantage here, and so far the game plan's working out really well. Nice grab off the hydrant, reversal there, and now already starting to get some nice extra credit on this first stock.
One thing Trisket has been doing incredibly is they are so good at just getting conversions off of the hydrant by just getting pushed by it, whether that's getting a grab for getting pushed. I saw a couple forward smashes come out after getting pushed by the fire hydrant. Really, really good at doing that. Also really good at edge guarding, like we are seeing right here. That is a good high recovery coming through from Uni. Did not want to mess with that forward air coming through from Pac-Man. And you know what? Really close to taking a stock here. If they can manage to get a hit, I believe a forward air or even an up smash will definitely kill at this percent. And I want to say, Uni already doing a lot better than they did in game 1.
Ooh, yep. That dash attack will help Uni get that first stock here as it gets caught in the flow of the hydrant, and that down air is going to land. So far, Trisket bleeding much earlier than it took Trisket 3 players just to finally lose a stock. They took 6 stocks in a row before they had died once. Oh, that's actually a really bad fallout there, unfortunately, for Trisket. But yeah, so for Uni to get this first stock so quickly is massive. Trisket will knock him down another peg there, though. And now it's an opportunity for Trisket to build this back up and potentially combo off the side. We've seen him do it before, but has still 2 stocks remaining to play with.
And that up B, that incredibly fast up B, acting as a get out of jail free card there for Uni, using it to perfection. Try to get a little early kill off the top, but not going to have enough juice on that up air to get it. Did manage to land another 2 or 3 up airs, though, just keeping Pac-Man up, though Trisket does manage to land. And at 85%, this is definitely doable for Uni. It's definitely manageable for Uni to take another stock. But again, with the way Trisket plays, I just don't know if I see it happening. Here we go, 103%. Edgeguard opportunity for Uni, but couldn't quite get anything out of it. Trisket opted to hop right over that bacon and avoiding that fire hydrant at all costs. Opting for the bell. Recatch, that might be it. Yep, that is going to be it. That is a bell into forward smash Pac-Man special as Trisket doing a little bit worse than they did in set number 1, losing 1 stock here. But still, very good set from him, or very good game from him, getting their team off to another really good start. And now the rest of the team has to run the Trisket gauntlet, and we've seen what Trisket can do to everyone else. That game against Velvet, in particular with the Mewtwo, that last stock was that Edgeguard that killed at like 26% was crazy. If I'm them, do I just do what I did last game and just send Buzzy in with Palutena? Do I take my chance with Velvet and the Mewtwo? Like, what at this point, what do I do if I'm Sienna Heights?
I think the Mewtwo might not actually be a bad idea. There was a little bit of life there we saw from Velvet. Obviously, having that confusion is really helpful, but still, I mean, it took so much. I don't think there was really one point there. It was like, oh, this player potentially has an edge over Trisket or not, because Trisket took out 11 stocks. Like they're gonna lose a stock. They're bound to eventually, right? But I'm pretty sure that it took, you know, Uni and Buzzy to go down first without dying or without taking a stock at all before we saw anything. So in reality, Velvet and Joe Shark were the ones that did the most damage to Trisket, so maybe you do get to those players first, right? Like Trisket, definitely bleeding early, has 2 stocks. Maybe you do start off with the Mii Brawler, or you throw out the Mewtwo here to try to get them down to at least 1 stock quicker. 2 stocks would be great. And now that would, if they do take out Trisket right here, it's a completely different matchup. Of course, shoutouts there to our player, or to our Game & Watch there, Uni. The shift from Isabel was massive, and the Game & Watch was doing pretty solid, just like you said. The low, like the lightness of Game & Watch just really doesn't help. And once your defense of the bucket gets broken, right? No pun intended there, but once you have, you know, they're getting around that bucket play, it's hard for Game & Watch to really get that defense back up. And they really have to be landing those buckets to stay alive in that matchup, which Trisket just really had the edge there overall. So we'll see what Sienna can do here. I think we might see the Mewtwo next, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting to see Uni so quickly in this next series either.
Yeah, after kind of getting bodied in game number 1, in set 1, I didn't really expect the exact same opening lineup from either. I expected it from Oakland. They took out 11 stocks. Why not just send Trisket back in? But I would have expected Sienna Heights to send someone else in. But they did send in, again, another character with Game & Watch who definitely did a lot better, took a stock away. But yeah, if I'm Sienna Heights, I agree with you. I do think that Mewtwo might be a good pick right now. And do I try to save Palutena for a character like Kazuya or Ken, who is a bit...
we haven't even seen yet.
Exactly. Like, do I save Palutena for like a Kazuya or a Ken? So, because obviously Palutena kind of is a lot better at edge guarding. I feel like, maybe not Kazuya, but Ken, a little bit easier to edge guard than Kazuya. Kazuya has some crazy recovery stuff for some reason. But either way, we are getting into this second game. It is going to be Trisket the Pac-Man up against the Mii Brawler of Joe Shark, sitting in the Mii Brawler second. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's just because Mii Brawler, despite what we saw in that game, that first game, does have some decent KO power, so they might just look to quickly take at least 1 stock from Trisket here to set them up for either Velvet or Buzzy in the next game.
It's a double-edged sword, because Joe Shark did do a decent job against Trisket, but also Trisket comboed this Mii Brawler really hard. So it's both the that was really the theme for both the Mii Brawler and the Mewtwo last time, is they're characters that can deal with Pac-Man, but if they get hit, especially off stage, they're dead. So, or even if they get combo started, they're dead. So it's something that makes it such a polarizing matchup on both accounts here. And Trisket is just running circles around Joe Shark right now, making it look easy. Nice, has the Hydra to respond to the recovery, but gets caught on the second attempt there. The Hydra comes down again and lands on the top of that pig there. And now it is Trisket who is just trying to keep Joe Shark at range here, knowing that that kill power is deadly. The Hydra comes through off the smash tag, and that still won't kill. 154 here for Joe Shark.
And Joe Shark again is doing a much better job in this game than they did in game one, doing a lot better doing a way better job of recovering, mixing up the recovery options. But Trisket, we saw a couple times, is kind of becoming privy to the mix-ups that Joe Shark is doing on those recoveries. Managed to get a couple of hydrants there as we finally see Joe Shark lose that stock at about 172, I want to say that was, and that is stock number 4 for Trisket. Don't think they're gonna get quite up to 11 this time. But you know what? With the way they're going, maybe we'll see a 5th right here. Think that's it? Yep, that's number 5.
Trisket looking to beat their own record here. It could happen. If they are able to get away with this, holding on to this second stock, this might be dire straits here for Sienna Heights, as they are just getting pounded away here by Oakland. This is looking rough. Trisket is just in dominating fashion, showing why, again, character matchups can be so important here. Pac-Man doing really solid against Sienna Heights' pool, but this Mii Brawler pick, I think, was the right move. Instead of putting out Buzz, I think either Velvet or Joe Shark was the move, and Joe Shark proving they are able to come in here and try to stop the Muncher, try to stop the monster here. This is going to be rough.
Not gonna lie, I thought that was going to potentially be a stock there for Joe Shark, kind of stealing one away, but again, that great recovery from Pac-Man, and Trisket using it to perfection, able to come back, and that is going to be a back air from Trisket. That is stock number 6 for Trisket, off to another fantastic start. Again, not quite the start that they got in set number 1, but honestly, to ask Trisket to do that again would be asking them for probably a little bit too much, but either way, took 6 stocks out, has 1 stock left, and you have the Palutena and you have the Mewtwo. Honestly, if I am Sienna, between those two, I think I just risk going Mewtwo right here. I think because Mewtwo kills a lot earlier than Palutena does. Shadow Ball, a great kill option. Forward Air, a great option as well. A fantastic down air that you could potentially get an early spike on Pac-Man 2. So if I'm Sienna, I'm thinking I go Mewtwo. And I really want to save Palutena to maybe deal with characters like Kazuya or Lucina and Ken.
I agree. I think I don't know.
It's hard.
This is still such a hard one to really ask here. Again, you know, Sienna, I think, doing a good job overall of dealing with Trisket's Pac-Man. I don't know. This is really, again, where it comes down to, like, how do you adapt, right, on the second set of a series as in a crew battle, and pick and choose your characters. I mean, I think Buzz being potentially the anchor here is probably what I would imagine is going to happen. I don't know. I'm undecided, man. I'm undecided.
Yeah, I am leaning towards Mewtwo, but I think the big issue here is that it's taking you 3 players just to take out 1 person from the other team, and you're not going to be winning too many crew battles like that as we get into game number 3, and it is going to be Cloud coming through from Buzz. Nice. Okay, you know what? I like the pick. It's only 1 stock you have to take from Trisket. If it was if you had to take out like 3 stocks or something like that, maybe Palutena, because I think Palutena is kind of better at those long-winded matches. But just to take out 1 stock, honestly, I really like the Cloud pick. A lot of KO power, especially with that limit. A really good back air that could nullify a lot of the stuff that Pac-Man wants to do. And just a lot of maneuverability and speed that I feel like Palutena doesn't quite offer. Like Cloud does, especially with that limit, as we're seeing right here. Buzz off to a fantastic start.
Well, this is a lot of the time what happens in these crew battles, that players will either start with like their favorite character, their main, and then they're like, all right, I'm going to use my real character next time. Or they use their character that they prefer, and then their main comes out, or just like, all right, this is my real character too. And Cloud is definitely one of those, like, okay, like I used my character, now here's the real game character that actually can stand a chance. So I'm not surprised by that. But I mean, Buzz was playing Palu though, so in that case, it really does come down to the matchup. I mean, not just the kill power here and the speed, but just the sword, right? Like having a swordy against Pac-Man a lot of the time can be what you need. Forward tilt, great option, but the back airs and forward airs that can stop Pac-Man approaches and trying to get on stage and stop items as well is so crucial. And then of course you have limit, which gives you that kill power when you need it in a pinch. So overall, a nice switch to Cloud. This is exactly what we're looking for, right? Like this is the mark of a team that, okay, we got bodied. Let's not let it get to our heads. We're going to make the changes we know we need to make, and they're going to do it in a way that potentially gets them back into this. But still, with that said, Trisket has now taken 7 stocks. So this is now 4 matchups in a row through the past 2 weeks that we've seen 7 stocks taken by the first player at least. Except now Triscuit's working against their own record that they've set of 11 stocks in the previous series, or the previous set. But finally they'll be taken down. And earlier than last time, the back air comes out from Buzzy, and they will finally take out Triscuit.
But I have to say this. First of all, hats off to Triscuit. Just fantastic play. Between the 2 games, you have 24 stocks per team, okay? Triscuit has taken out 18 of the 24 stocks that Siena Heights University had. 18 by themselves. At that point, when someone is dominating that hard, again, that has to take a toll mentally. What do you do? It has to feel like just almost crushing that it took 3 of you to barely take someone out, and after you've already seen what they can do to you, and they have 3 characters left as well. It has to be crushing mentally for Siena Heights University. So I'm hoping they, kind of keep their cool. It's definitely doable, because here's the thing.
Way more
Kazuya.
now.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, Kazuya, Lucina, and Ken, all characters that have, I want to say, not bad recoveries, but exploitable recoveries. So if you can get a couple of gimps here, I think Kazuya maybe less so, but Lucina and Ken definitely have exploitable recoveries. If you can get a couple of gimps here, get a couple of cheesy KOs here, they're not quite out of it yet.
No, definitely not. This is a completely different series, which we're happy to see here. A completely different set, rather, of this series, which we're very happy to see. And this is definitely doable, because now we have the Lucina, Ken, and Kazuya remaining, right? I would say Cloud does pretty well against Kazuya and Ken. Can outspace them, can play a range game if they need to, and can stay, on platforms, even, jump a little bit more than they need to, and just stay out of that close quarters range. Lucina is a character I think we're probably going to end up seeing Spectral, because I think Lucina probably has the best job against Cloud out of those 3 characters, because you can have that sortie matchup. Lucina has the speed to deal with Cloud, can catch up if need to, can go off stage if need to. Ken can certainly kill early, but can definitely get zoned out, and Kazuya can, has a hard time and disadvantage against Cloud. So I'm leaning towards Spectral's Lucina coming out, but that's considering we don't see any other character changes. We've seen it from Siena. I mean, Oakland hasn't been forced to change characters just yet, but they might still do it at spur of the moment, taking advantage of these things.
Oh,
but
here's the Kazuya.
We have the Kazuya. We do have the Kazuya coming out. That should be Poison Jam, who is jumping in here for Oakland. And it is Poison Jam the Kazuya up against Cloud. I would have to imagine that they're thinking, hey, I know this matchup really well. I'm good to go, and not really worried about the implications of facing a Cloud here.
And here we go, the Kazuya stuff coming through really, really early. Managed to, or unfortunately dropped that combo, but that was still 44% deck off of a dropped combo. Imagine if they managed to get that neutral air. That might have been a stock off of 2 hits if Poison Jam didn't drop that. But either way, 57% opening for Poison Jam. There you go.
Uh-oh.
Let's get off stage.
They have. They're good.
They had a limit right there, definitely saving them. But that could have been potentially dangerous if that limit wasn't on deck. Some neutral beast coming through from Poison Jam, and they're looking for that one big hit here, deck. There it is.
Be death. Yeah. That is rough. So this is a matchup that on paper Cloud's favor. But the only reason it's really on Cloud's favor on paper is if your spacing is right. But you can tell that Buzzy is getting way too close in a lot of these situations. Like the forward airs and the back airs, they're landing almost right outside Kazuya's shield. Look at that call out though.
Oh boy.
Hits him with the electric fist right there, and that is now going to be some substantial damage. Buzzy's about to get limit though, and this is where you have to kill Kazuya anytime they're off stage, especially this matchup. You got to commit and go up now that they have rage. This is going to be something of a treat here. Both of these characters have their win conditions essentially, and Buzzy lets it rip, and that doesn't land anywhere. And now that should be kill as well. That's a little too early.
Not quite, but still got what, like 40% off of that, 30-something% off of that.
I was looking at Kazuya's percent. I was like, oh, that would kill. But Cloud's at 89, so I got a little mixed up there. But nonetheless, substantial damage, gets the stage control. That should be a punish. No, just out of timing there. Nice little bit of shield stun, and it should be able to get back. Poison Jam does. Buzzy, though, they're down a bunch of stocks. And, of course, Poison Jam would love to walk away with this without dropping a single stock here.
And yeah, just both of these characters looking for something right there. Gets the side B, but that aerial side B isn't going to quite hit. Uppercut, whiffing there from Poison Jam. And oh man, Buzzy just swinging for the fences, wants his KO. The cross slash limit coming in just a little bit too late. That non-limited cross slash, not enough juice on that to get a KO. But that one does a quick drop down and a really good edge guard from Buzzy to actually manage to take a stock there from Poison Jam. And that is a big stock, as we're going to see Poison Jam and Oakland University go down to 8. This is still doable. It's not out of the realm of possibility. If Buzzy does manage to take one more stock here, which again is a very hard ask, it is not out of the realm of possibility that Sienna Heights can still win this.
I think you're right. Because that 113 is scary, though. But Kazuya off stage, this disadvantage is really where you know Kazuya struggles, is getting back in. But no, the up B off the top not going to be enough. Yeah, nice DI there.
And Limit's about to come through, too.
Yep, about to have Limit.
And yeah, Limit about to be here. Again, the win condition coming through for Buzzy. What's the edge guard here? Blade Beam is barely gonna get the KO, and that is 2 stocks for Buzzy right there, narrowing this gap down 7-4, but there's probably gonna be a stock on right here. Yes, it is, and now Sienna Heights down to their last character and their last player, which is going to be Velvet, the Mewtwo, up against Kazuya. Don't love this for Mewtwo. If Velvet does stay Mewtwo, we've seen the kill power that Kazuya has. Mewtwo being one of the in the bottom 10 latest characters in the game. You're going to see stocks taken very, very early potentially. But on the other hand, Mewtwo with those long limbs and that Shadow Ball is capable of maybe zoning out Kazuya just a little bit. And it has really good juggling tools, as we see that Blade Beam right there. And yeah, Mewtwo also has really good juggling tools. You alluded to it earlier. Kazuya, terrible in disadvantage. The one major weakness that the character has. If Mewtwo is a character, when they're pressuring correctly, they are really good at keeping you just in a state of disadvantage deck.
That's really the name of the game here, right? It's like just pushing that disadvantage as much as you can. A lot of these characters, especially for the Oakland lineup outside of Pac-Man and, you know, Lucina to an extent, like they can struggle in disadvantage, right? You can't let up, especially in Ultimate too. Like certainly neutral, having your fundamentals is key, but if your punish game is crazy, sometimes you can get away with having either a less than stellar neutral or an unfavorable character matchup, right? So having that crazy high potential off of your kills because you have a really good advantage state can really turn the tide, and that's really what we're going to need to see here from this Mewtwo, right? Like that's a character that you cannot afford to drop an opportunity to get kills because you're so light, because you're so tall, and you're at this huge, you know, margin here score wise. Like you need to be able to go out off stage and do it right. You need to make sure you're not getting hit in neutral and getting those combo starters off quickly. That confusion's certainly going to be a big key here. I really think Shadow Ball is what you're going to need to be using a lot of the time. Like that's your way to do damage safely without committing and not getting too antsy in scramble situations, because Mewtwo a lot of the time outside of Nair can struggle in those situations.
One thing you do gotta remember that Kazuya also has a reflector with that axe kick, so you can't be
so true.
You can't be too willy-nilly throwing out those shadow balls, because I've seen those get reflected and KO people at like 30%. But yeah, I do agree that shadow ball is going to be great. I think confusion as well, that side B is also going to be a very good tool. And same thing with forward tilt. Mewtwo doesn't have a sword, but that tail kind of acts like a sword with some of their moves. That forward tilt is also going to be a really good spacing tool to kind of keep Kazuya kind of at bay. But at the end of the day, this is Kazuya, and I've seen enough riddles to know that Kazuya does not care about matchups. Matchups don't matter once you get Electric Wind God Fisted. They do not matter. But we are seeing an Inkling switch. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So throw out everything we just said. Inkling, a character, smaller hitbox, a bit harder to hit, a very good dash. Again, we're going to see the dash very, very soon, most likely. Dives right into the ground, becomes very, very difficult to hit. One of the best dash dances in the game. So it is gonna be a bit more of a challenge for Poison Jam to get those big hits that we know Kazuya for. But still, it's a tough ask for Velvet to take away these stocks, because Inkling is one of those characters that I feel kind of like Palutena, very solid in neutral, but can just struggle to take a stock consistently.
I think it was the right move though, because you touched on how like the Mewtwo tail and like other moves that Mewtwo has are good, but like that tail is its own hurt box, right? And I'm thinking like if I'm Kazuya, like yeah, swing your tail at me. I can easily hit you and confirm off of that, which is one of the worst things. Something that Mewtwo struggles with so much in this game is that being a hurt box. Whereas Inkling, such a smaller hitbox, is constantly pancaking, has I think arguably better projectiles too, if you think about it. And then of course you have the paint to deal a little bit of that extra buff. So this is a matchup where I think Velvet has an edge. The problem is getting that kill without dying here, because you're thinking, I'm not worried necessarily about this one stock from Kazuya. I'm worried about how many stocks I have for the other two players that are still waiting on the bench, one of which is a Ken and a Lucina, which both characters, I mean, Lucina for sure can do well against Inkling.
Yeah. And right now we're seeing Poison Jam sitting at 142%. I think they still have... Oh, no, the Rage is gone. So that's no longer going to be a tool, as we see that spike into up air. Velvet doing their job. Great switch to Inkling. Definitely a more consistent character than Mewtwo. There was a reason a lot of people thought that Inkling was like top 5 in this game for like damn near 2 years, because this character is very solid, even though they kind of fell off a little bit. Has some really, really good tools, solid neutral, inconsistent kill power, KO power, but still solid KO power at the same time, even though, you know, that up air, sometimes a bit inconsistent. Back air, same thing. Did manage to get the KO right there, as we're going to see, the jumping into the down air, yep, into that up air. That's going to definitely do it. And I'm actually kind of shocked that that KO'd, I'm not going to lie. I've seen people survive Inkling up air at like 160 before, because it's just how inconsistent that move tends to be. So I oftentimes, when that move actually gets a KO, I'm like, oh shoot, it actually worked this time. But yeah, either way, switching to Inkling, definitely the move.
Absolutely. These character adjustments are what have made the difference for a lot of these teams in the second set of a series. But is it going to be enough? Because what we've seen tried and true working is having that super strong player come out and create such a lead that even the best players can't come back from. In a crew battle situation, even if you have like one of the best players sitting in the wings, like, you got to come up with such a huge margin here. I mean, even if like Trisket, for example, was the anchor instead, I don't necessarily think they would have been able to take 11 stocks from behind rather than from the beginning, right? It's the difference in terms of like matchups and just, you know, overall mental fortitude there. So, you know, having that pressure on you, knowing you're the anchor. So now we're in a situation where, okay, like you have the Inkling, you've kind of played your card, but now you have 6 stocks to come up with. And as we said, Inkling can struggle to kill. You need a character to like that can explosively involve, you know, has that volatility to get kills at any percent. Like even Pac-Man is able to do that, right? We saw that you know, the Mewtwo dying at 26% there on Kalos. Like that's a character that can do it all at any percent. So Inkling doesn't have that explosiveness that I think Sienna like desperately needs right now to bring this series back.
And that kind of goes back to what we talked about when we first kind of had a feel for what the roster was going to be. I think we both agree that they don't have that like one character that like, okay, cool, this character is someone who no matter who they go in on, I can depend on them. And with Oakland, they have Kazuya and Pac-Man, which are 2 of those characters that can just KO you at what feels like any percentage. If Pac-Man gets an edge guard, or if Kazuya basically breathes on you, you can get a KO at basically any percentage. And I really feel like that's where the character roster for Sienna Heights definitely falters. I do like having the Cloud. I do like that buzzing switch to the Cloud. I do feel like that would have been a better option in the first set. But hey, either way, on to game number 6. Sienna Heights down to their final 3 stocks. And we are getting the Wolf from Whirl Nerfer. Okay, not a Ken.
No, not a Ken indeed. I definitely saw the Ken potentially coming up here, but we'll see. I mean, this is a really, I think, a good pick here.
Yeah.
And it does, and just checking real quick, it does look like they have the Wolf secondary that they have used in a, not as many games, probably like a quarter of the amount of games that they've used their Ken. But this is very clearly the matchup change here, right? Like, Wolf is a character that can play that close quarters game and scramble situations in a pretty decent manner, but also Wolf can deal with Inkling shenanigans at range, which Ken can't really do as effectively.
And at the same time, Wolf is just steadily been one of the most consistent characters in this game. I feel like it's one of the characters where like every move works exactly like it's supposed to. Whenever you get a neutral air, whenever you get a forward air, whatever the case may be, you know exactly what's going to happen. Your opponent knows what's going to happen, but it's just really hard to do anything about it. So I do really like this pick, as we do see them get off to a really hot start right here, about a 50% or so lead, and we're probably going to start to see the down smashes for Whirl Nerfer come through. Oh no, I lied. Side B. Oh no, an up smash. I lied. The up smash scoop again. A very, very consistent move coming through from Wolf and Whirl Nerfer there. as they manage to take that first stock.
Still, though, Warble is at 91%. And this Inkling should be able to clean this up, but doesn't have any range to work with. As little as that might do in this game, it still gives you a little bit of an edge. And just the Wolf is so slippery here. Just getting out of these setups. Gets hit by the side B. That they're not going to be able to get out of that one, as that will confirm and get that kill. 2 stocks left for both players here, but certainly more crucial for Sienna, as that is their last 2 stocks to play with. And this Wolf right now, just keeping things slippery. The speed is so massive. That's another thing too. Wolf has a little extra speed over Ken here and is able to weave in and out of these approaches from Inkling and keep up as well and chase down Inkling when need be. And you're seeing right there, the laser is just so crucial, forcing Inkling into shield a little more often, punishing any kind of paint spraying, punishing the side Bs if need be. The Warble has the tools ready to go to deal with the Inkling, and now putting Velvet in a position where they're just struggling to get in at all on this Wolf.
And I'm actually really glad you brought up the laser right there, because it has been probably Wolf's best tool in this match. It's like you said, stops the roller, stops paint spray, stops the dashing as well. Sometimes Inkling can sometimes kind of creep under it, but oftentimes they will run into that blaster. It's been such a good tool, and I really feel like a lot of this damage, this 101% that we're seeing on Velvet, came from just getting hit by that laser, which does add up if you manage to get hit by like 5 or 6 of them.
You're definitely right. I mean, this so much of this damage, I think, from the stock has come from just regular laser shots hitting alone. So definitely something that has to be kept into consideration here. As now we have Warble with a slight advantage on the second stock. Velvet has slowed it down considerably, and they've really been forced to, because Warble is setting the pace and tone of the second stock here with a lot of these approaches. The forward airs and airs, but these lasers are landing consistently. Look at the spacing on that back air. Just perfect enough to get out of range, out of the out of shield option there from the Inkling. And now 149%, they're going to go for the release. Oh, okay. That was
okay.
Just could have probably just gone for the throw, but looking for a release and doesn't get the follow-up. That's not going to kill as well.
I respect the attempt there. That would have been pretty hot if it managed to hit. But yeah, I agree with you. Should have just gone for the throw there and get that safe damage. But they do manage to get that up air KO, so it doesn't really matter in the end. And now Velvet 1 stock away from dropping this set 2-0 to Oakland University. And you know what? Wolf is probably the best character to have to close out this stock. Again, just so consistent. KO moves basically KO exactly when they're supposed to. Such a good neutral. Every single tool you need in like in a cleanup character, I should say. All the best tools you need in a cleanup character deck.
Warble's spacing and movement right now is just so clean. Like, they are staying
crazy,
really out of range. I mean, they're going to hit by the roller there, just getting a little bit antsy, of course, proving me wrong. But leading up to that point, I mean, the forward air is like right at perfect range on the shield. The lasers coming in clutch. The nairs as they cross up on the Inkling have been great. Now just slowing it down yet again, because they are setting the pace here with that laser that allows Wolf entirely to, is this going to play a fast game or a slow stock? They're in control thanks to that laser. And now 113 left for Velvet, 122. That would do it here. Warble is looking to close things out here with 5 stocks left on the table.
And you know what? If Velvet can manage to survive a little bit longer and take this 1 stock, it's not quite over yet. But at 152, that grab 4 throw probably. Or release. Okay, release. Okay, no, it doesn't go for the throw, goes for the release. No edge guard, though. At 162, again, I don't want to say it's quite over yet, because 1 good string from Inkling can do it. But with Wolf, so many KO moves, forward tilt, obviously 3 really good smash attacks as well. And we're probably going to see back throw here. Yep, back throw, other side of the stage, not quite enough.
They almost jumped out. They almost jumped out past that blast zone, too. 194 now. That grab. I don't think that's the thing. Oh, that'll finally do it there. And I believe that'll be 4 stocks there. 4-0 right there to end it out, as Warble's on their last. They have 1 player left to go, but Oakland will take it 2-0 in the series off of some phenomenal play across the board. We can't forget Trisket, as you mentioned, 18 stocks across 2 sets in that series, and then the nice adjustments from both teams, but ultimately Oakland coming out on top.
And I gotta give a shout out to Sienna here. The character switches, again, the adjustments, like you said as well, definitely played a factor. But I think this was simply a matter of one team just being better than the other team. I think it honestly just came down to that. So no matter in cases like that, no matter what adjustments you make, if the other team is just more talented, they're most likely going to win 9 times out of 10. So I got to give a big shout to Sienna because you know what? After getting bodied that hard in one set, I understand how a lot of people might kind of fold under that kind of pressure and all that kind of things. But they stayed the course. They did very, a 5-stock deficit, I think, not a terrible
Yeah.
loss. Did a lot better in game 2. So you know what? Big shout outs to Siena Heights University. But Oakland, Trisket.
Yeah.
We didn't even did we see Werble? Oh yeah, we just saw Werble. But either way, Trisket basically swiping 18 stocks, 18 out of 24 stocks by themselves. That has to be a record. We saw 7 and maybe someone maybe take out maybe 10 or 11 stocks last week, something like that. But 18 stocks has to be the record. That is absolutely insane. And I hope we get to talk to Trisket in a few minutes because I have some questions for that person right there. Absolutely insane.
So that'll bring Oakland to a 3-1 record here in the regular season. Siena Heights will fall to a 2-2 record here. So a really great start to the season by Oakland. They've only lost to Michigan Tech, and now they will add a victory over Siena alongside their victories over Aquinas and Davenport rather. So they are now, I believe, 6-2 in overall sets won in the series that they've played. And yeah, phenomenal play there by Trisket. Really good play across from all players on the board. Werble really showing their stuff. I love the character changes from both teams here. Poison Jam, of course, doing some work on the Kazuya, and then Spectro as well on that Lucina was doing some good work. But we saw some, brief moments of life there from Siena. Obviously, Velvet doing a really solid job. We saw, the Game & Watch come out from Uni, which was big. The Cloud come out as well, I believe. At some point for Siena Heights, of course, they had the Me Brawler from Joe Shark as well. It just unfortunately wasn't enough. And again, it comes down to, making up that loss that you're the gap that is there created by a single player is just sometimes too much to overcome, but also skill diff potentially. I mean, Trisket showing that they have earned it for sure. 193 at Riptide, and they did pretty solid, I believe. Werble, also getting 193rd at Riptide. Both of them did at the same place. Also pretty good at SmashCon as well, I think. So we're going to be jumping into, I believe, our interview here, if I'm not mistaken, with one of our Oakland players.
With Trisket from Oakland University. Trisket,
what's up, guys?
How are you feeling? Before we get started, how are you feeling?
It was a wild time. I'm feeling pretty good right now, though. I can't lie.
After taking out, I don't know if you're counting, by the way, you took
18.
out 18 stocks. 18 stocks. What's going through your head once you relocate in set number 1? Once you took out basically damn near their whole team, what is going through your head at that point?
Honestly, I just wanted to take the rest of the set. I
same,
knew,
honestly, same.
I was 1 stock that last game. I'm like, okay, Brawler, I know I can gimp. There's some characters I can and can't gimp. Brawler's one of those characters, as you saw, I could definitely gimp. So I'm like, okay, got 2 quick Zuda deaths. Can I get one more? Couldn't do it. But that's what I was thinking at the time. I was just pushing, I was pressing W super hard. Almost got the W, but I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you had to have been. We think it's like a collegiate crew battle record. That was pretty insane. Surely definitely go down in history books. I feel like it is. I've never seen a player take out 11 stocks.
Me neither.
So that was in one set. But coming off that, you have to imagine the other team's going to make some adjustments. Obviously, they did. They put out a Game & Watch first. What were you feeling like? Was there any kind of strategy going into the next set in terms of what we're going to make adjustments, or you're just like, all right, we're just going to play it the same way?
For me, just kind of keep it the same play style I had in the first set. I was moving super hard in the first set. Wasn't really feeling any pressure, but next set, definitely a little bit more pressure as I had to adjust. Of course, they were making adjustments, but overall, same game plan, but definitely play a little more passive as I just wanted to feel it out first and see what I can and can't do.
Okay, and Trisket, to take it away from Smash a little bit, and I asked every single student this question. Obviously, you've been to tournaments. We saw your results at Riptide. You saw your results at SmashCon, doing very, very well at those tournaments. And you've represented yourself, well up until this point. But how does it feel to be a part of a team and to represent your university in this manner? Because you put Oakland University on the map after that set. And how does that feel?
It feels great. Coming from a high school where I was playing esports, I was playing in Michigan high school league for Smash. Coming off of that, and I had the team spirit already, so honestly, and I've been looking at Oakland for a while now, like when I was still a senior. So being on the Oakland team now and being a part of Oakland University and like as a team, it feels great. You know, I couldn't ask for anything more, honestly.
Yeah, can definitely imagine that. Now, I mean, normally I would ask, like, what are your takeaways from this one? But I mean, this was such a dominating performance. I'm not entirely sure, other than just feeling good. So I know you all did have, a struggle a little bit against Michigan Tech earlier in the season. How did that go? And then what are you going to learn from that one? Because that was your one loss so far.
Great question. Funny you mentioned that. So during that entire Michigan Tech set, we were disconnecting like the entire time, like throughout the match. But besides that, I did get my butt kicked by a DDD. I can't lie. I just wasn't feeling it. Got a little bit down on myself after I was like down a stock against a DD, against a winning match for Pac-Man at that. So, didn't feel the great, but adjustments definitely we're doing some VOD review, making sure that for the next time we play against anyone, we're mostly ready.
Well, Trisket, we're gonna let you go now. Go have fun with your team. Once again, congratulations. You've earned a fan today. That was one of the best displays of Pac-Man I think I've ever seen. Go have fun with your team. Tell them I said congratulations, man.
Sounds great. Got it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Trisket. So that was Trisket from Oakland University, the absolute MVP. And in case you haven't heard it enough, 18 stocks.
Yeah.
18 stocks out of 24 that person took right there with Pac-Man of all characters. If you told me it was a Steve or a Kazuya, I'd believe you. Be like, yeah, that character can do it. But Pac-Man, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. So shout outs to them. Shout outs to Oakland University. Shout outs to Trisket and everyone on their team. And one thing I did not mention earlier is I really feel like out of all the teams that we've seen up until this point, Oakland is the most balanced. That's the one team where I'm just like, man, every one of these players, like, you don't really see much of a drop off in like skill from player to player, where other teams you might have those one or two really good players and then two kind of solid players after that. This is like the first team where I'm like, man, all four of these people are good enough to be anchored.
I think you're right, and I think another team that's going to be in the exact same way as Northwood, who's in our next matchup. So don't go anywhere, everyone. On the other side of this break, we have our second and last series of the night. It's going to be Central Michigan University versus Northwood University. Don't go anywhere, because more of the NACE Star League 2022 fall season of Week 4 is coming your way on the other side of this break.
playing this matchup damn near to perfection.
Yeah.
There we go, the Yoshi bomb. Gonna rack off some more damage right there. Upsmash not enough to get a KO, but oh my god, defeating the egg right.
Up against Nick, and then pushes on to the middle area. Pretty much guaranteed numbers to be there and low. A bold play at the end of the day. Meathead finding 2. You're running with the Stingers. Steve does get the first kill, and now you've got problems for Flowery unless they're all gone. Oh, with the vulnerability, Flowery of the classic.
Surprisingly, at that 1-0, Drury needs to put a single point on the board to tie things up. That's all they need. Then they can maybe find one more in that golden time to put that final goal on the board. But as Sun plays, I mean,
KO, whereas you are able to get those birds out into the open with the sky.
Are we talking about aggression on the defense? Oh my god!
Set him up for the double kill now. Son swings wide, swings out, and swings far. Oh my goodness, he's so fast, it's ridiculous. How can you stop this man? And he's taking the quad kill. Ace on the cards.
Whew, love me some good CSGO and Valorant clips there. Those were your plays of the week. And of course, that is all stemming here from our awesome lineup of games throughout the week. Mondays, Rocket League, Call of Duty and Valorant on Wednesdays, Thursday. Of course, we're here every week with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Cruise, and then we have CSGO on Friday. So be sure to check us out tomorrow for some Counter-Strike, and then we're back for some more Rocket League and COD on the start of next week. And we are here for the NACE Star League 2022 fall season. It is week 4, and it is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Cruise. We jump into our second matchup of the night. It is, of course, Central Michigan University 2-1 versus the 3-0 Northwood University, who are looking to extend that record here in the East 1 Conference in the regular season.
And if Northwood manages to get to a 4-0 this deep into the season, honestly, I think it would be reasonable to expect them to finish off as one of the top 2 seeds, especially again being undefeated this far into it. We both spoke earlier about these rosters. Northwood University, if you don't know, there's that name at the bottom there, Seth Sensational. That person is a world-class Captain Falcon player. I would assume is going to act either as their anchor or as someone to throw out right in the beginning to maybe take out a bunch of stocks. But either way, Sensational is just a sensational player. One of the better Falcons. Really, I was trying my best not to do it.
We've barely gotten into the series hasn't even started yet, man. Could I at least hold on to it?
I'll try my best not to do it, but yeah, it's a sensational, just a world-class Captain Falcon player. I'm really excited to see how they're going to do here. We got some of the character rosters earlier. Potentially, we're going to have Frostbite with the Roy, So Good Pop, potentially with the Wii Fit, and Copal with the King K. Rool, who is a character that you don't see often, but I think if we made a crew battle tier list, K. Rool gotta be up there with their just ability to just not just hold on to stocks, but take stocks at ridiculously early percentages deck.
You're probably right, and considering that we have both Northwood here as our predicted team to win, I wouldn't be surprised we see a lot of that action. That was almost an easy pick for us, not only seeing Sensational on this, but also seeing Frostbite, who is, at this moment, Frost the Roy, who I believe we're seeing jump in right now. And you're talking about Sensational, but I think Frost is the player to watch here. 49th at Riptide. This Roy can definitely get some damage done, and we have Yosh coming in for CMU, who is actually a late substitute for this team jumping in. So we'll see what this Yoshi has to offer up against Frost Roy.
And I gotta say, jeez Louise, I was about to say, and you know what? Frostbite just proved my point that Yoshi is a character that just famously and historically cannot deal with swords, like Frostbite so pleasantly demonstrated in that first stock and continues to demonstrate here on stock number 2, sitting at only 8%. But yeah, Yoshi, sending out Yoshi against Roy, I don't know if it was a blind pick, but either way, Frostbite is just showing why Yoshi is not the best against anyone with any type of range on them.
I think it's the sword plus the speed, right? Like you have the disjoint that you can utilize, but the speed to get in that Yoshi is just a bit outmatched on. You can't really egg toss. You know, you can see right there, neutral B gets immediately stuffed out by forward air or jab. And then the kill power is in Roy's favor as well here. This is so tough and not going to be able to get the full conversion there. But look at that big damage already here from Frost. I mean, we are barely into this matchup right here, and already Yosh is down by 2 stocks. I mean, Frost might have been watching that previous set here, Muse, and was like, hey, 11 stocks? I can do 12. We'll see if we're going to get that far.
Definitely don't want to speak too soon, but hey, at this rate, we might see a 12 coming through from Frostbite as he just continues this domination over Yosh. At 72%, all Yosh really needs is one good conversion tier to take this stock. But again, with the way... Oh, is that it? No. With the way Frostbite is playing, you said earlier, it's not just the disjoint, but it's that ability with that Roy's speed and that ability to just get in really at will against a character that like Yoshi, who doesn't really have too many tools to kind of stuff you out. And against Roy, you need the ability to keep them from getting close to you, because that will happen to you 10 times out of 10, as Yosh unfortunately had to experience. But you said it right at the beginning of the match. Frostbite, probably the person to watch here. You got, what, 49th you said at Riptide?
Yes, 49th at Riptide. Frost, I believe, which makes them the best placing player of the night at Riptide. I know Sensational, I believe, got 129th, and of course we saw 193rd from 2 players on Oakland previously. Look at that. Just incredible finesse there, precision when you need it, the speed and the pressure that Roy is so known for and excels at, right on display there against in a matchup that Roy solidly wins.
Solidly is definitely an understatement right there. Again, Frostbite demonstrating once again why Yoshi is just historically not good against swords. Frostbite with that Roy complete domination from start to finish. But there is still 3 people left on Central Michigan University. You kind of said that Frostbite may have been watching the earlier set. And again, I know we're not supposed to take sides here. I know we have our predictions. But I kind of want to see someone get swept by one person. I kind of want to see it. I'm not gonna.
We were nearly there, man, and I don't. You know, that's very few and far between. I think the difference here is that, you know, Roy can also kind of get edge guarded at moments. Pac-Man is just I think it's just a little less polarizing of a character. Though Roy has a really good matchup spread in this game too. I think it just really comes down to like the matchups you're getting. Like Pac-Man just had a really good bunch of matchups that he just does well in that last matchup. Now against here, I mean, I'm taking a look at this. I mean, I would say Roy still does pretty good. I think Zero Suit is probably going to be the biggest issue if Chadley does come out with that. But like Mewtwo, I think Roy should have no problem. Jigglypuff should have no problem. So this is, again, might be a situation where it might not just be skill diff, but also matchup diff right here. Which, again, we come back to this all the time here in Collegiate, is you want to set yourself up for success. And while you do want your players to play their best character, if you're coming into this with characters that don't have the best matchup spread or that can get counterpicked hard, that is going to reflect in your results.
And I want to talk about characters that get counterpicked hard. We actually just got word that it's going to be Potts with the Jigglypuff coming in soon. And you just said, like, one of the characters, I really feel like Roy is going to, just again, on paper, Roy is a character that can really run through Jigglypuff. I feel like Jigglypuff has a lot of the same issues that Yoshi has. Can't really deal with disjoints. Can't really get in on any character that has any type of long range. Doesn't have the speed to match up with Roy at all. It's very easy to overwhelm Jigglypuff, I should say. But just like Yoshi, does have that neutral air that you can kind of mash to combo break some things. But that wasn't really a factor in that first game against Yosh, because Frostbite played around that neutral air damn near to perfection. So I would imagine we're going to see, again, just on paper, a very similar plan coming through from Frostbite up against Potts' Jigglypuff.
Yeah, this is a situation where CMU really needs to be considering, like, maybe we're just keeping the puff out to try to get rid of this Roy and not like have to commit a better matchup to do so. But sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you can't afford to just kind of throw stocks away.
Exactly.
You know, just put numbers, throw bodies at the problem, right? at the same time, they did kind of unfortunately get matchup checked there because that was like a blind pick into the first character. They probably had no idea. Like they might have been expecting Sensational, right? And then they get hit with the Roy, and that just completely cleans up that Yoshi. But now we're going into our second game of this second set of this first set of this second series here. And it's going to be not only Jigglypuff here, but it's also on Kalos as we have Pots coming out.
And yeah, right now we're going to see, like I said, a lot of the same issues that Yoshi kind of suffers from in that matchup. Jigglypuff has the exact same thing, but honestly probably multiplied here, considering Puff is one of the lighter characters in the game. So everything that you saw KO Yoshi is probably going to KO, what, 15-20% earlier on this Jigglypuff? Like this jab back here that we're about to see? Just like that right there. Frostbite only taking 1% on that stock, and this is looking like it might be another sweep, Dak. I don't see how Potts is really going to overcome this.
Well, Northwood has been really known to just like pick up and like identify really strong players. Frost is absolutely no different here for sure. This is just so far an absolute devastating start here for CMU, as they have yet to, even get close to taking a stock here. That said, this is probably the closest Frost has been at the moment. 75%. Jigglypuff can still do it. Really, Frost just has to be careful of getting caught using jump in neutral, right? Which Roy loves to do. Jigglypuff, despite the matchup here, can still do something with that. But look at this, how this is slowed down. Frost has no need to approach, and with that forward air ready to go, or just a jab, Potts really has no way to get in because Roy can immediately respond. So this completely shuts down, and now it's, okay, well, you're going to have to come to me. I have the lead. I don't need to go anywhere here for Frost.
This is one of the few times I've seen someone just standing on a platform be that threatening. Because like you said, Potts really couldn't approach at that point, though, even though is managing to get some stuff on here right now. The one thing Potts is going to have to do to win this match is their edge guarding is going to have to be perfect, because you can push Roy horizontally, does not have a good horizontal recovery, and with that forward air and neutral air that Jigglypuff has, that's going to be the key to taking out this stock, like we might see right here. Yep,
that should be it.
Right on cue. Right on cue. Again, you need to push Roy horizontally. They do not have any means to recover in that direction. So we're going to have to see another 2 of those coming through from Potts before they lose this stock, but it's looking like they're probably going to lose it really soon. There it is.
Ooh.
I lied. But that up
nice
air,
DI there.
Yeah, really good DI on Kalos, one of the bigger stages with the higher ceiling. So does give Puff a bit more survivability, but unfortunately can't survive that one, as we see stock number 5 coming through from Frostbite there.
An absolutely crazy start here for Northwood. It slows right down. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually crew battles will have like a timer that's like 99 minutes to discourage this, because there's no way to time out here. I might also be thinking maybe there's a connection issue and they're just like waiting it out potentially, but it looks like it's running fine.
Yeah.
Frost is also literally has no incentive to approach. At this point, though, let's get it cooking, and look at that. Like, Frost finally does take the advantage there, has the Jigglypuff off stage, and the name of the game, I think, right now is, at least for Potts, is trying to figure out how to get Roy off stage and then knowing when to trade safely. Because if you can trade safely with Roy off stage, you can probably keep him from getting back to the ledge.
Yeah, basically exactly what we saw on stock number 1. Got a couple of, got a forward air and got a nair off stage. I don't know if there was a trade there, but either way, we're going to see that jab lock into Sing into no rest. Went for the up air into rest conversion, I believe they're attempting to do. Couldn't quite get it. The rest at 50-something definitely would not have KO'd there, so I totally understand going for the up air to get a little bit more percent and a little bit more height. But man, either way, Potts really, really needed that. Really needed that. Managed to get a really hard conversion, but couldn't quite finish it off. And now sitting at 95%, and right now Frostbite, all they have to do is just wait for an opportunity to get a back air or a side B, and that is going to be game, set, and match. There's a side B, couldn't quite get it. But yeah, all they have to do is wait for that one opportunity, one back air, one side B is definitely going to take the stock here.
It should do it. Realistically, Potts shouldn't get back up from the ledge. Oh, gets the roll in, and Frost just reading it a bit wrong there. Likely looking for the get up, or didn't read the roll distance as they should have. This slows down yet again here. Just the size of Kalos is allowing this, of course, and despite the fact that Frost can probably clean this up here. It's just wearing down Potts, who can't really approach. Unfortunately, this also means that Jera range is out of the question, or just the window for Jera's out of the question. For Frost, but it doesn't matter. The up air comes out, and Frost walks away with 2 stocks still left under their belt as they move through a second player from CMU.
That is 6 stocks in total for Frostbite for those keeping track at home. Again, I said it a bunch of times. I really feel like Jigglypuff and Yoshi back to back against a Swordy, not quite the best strategy in my opinion. I feel like again, Yoshi and Jigglypuff kind of operate in the same kind of area. They're both looking for a lot of the same stuff a lot of the time, and because of that, they both struggle against the exact same things. But Puff even more so because that's one of the lighter characters in the game. So you're going to be getting KO'd really, really early against a character in Roy who KOs heavies really, really early as well. So not sure I agree with going Yoshi to Puff. Obviously not working out, but I believe they still have ZSS and Chadley waiting in the wings, who I would have probably sent in second. I feel like ZSS, out of the character roster that I'm seeing right here for Central Michigan University, I feel like Zero Suit Samus is definitely the best option against Roy. You can't match the KO power, but you can kind of match the damage output of Roy. You're a lot more maneuverable. You have that flip kick, which is a get out of jail free card in a lot of scenarios. Roy can't really push you horizontally because of flip kick. Again, you have a decent recovery vertically as well, being one of the highest jumpers in the game and having a solid up B. I really think that ZSS should have been the move there, at least until you get rid of Roy, and then send in the Puff to deal with, one of the other potential characters that Northwood University has. But they opted to not go for that, and now they're playing from behind, unfortunately.
I think maybe they just didn't want to get like any kind of counter pick potential on putting in the ZSS too early.
True.
And because then you still have, your Puff and Mewtwo as your last 2 characters, which can get really counter picked hard, especially when you have potentially like a Falcon coming in, a K. Rool, a Wii Fit Trainer, all characters that do pretty well against both Puff and Mewtwo, especially Falcon, who can really just run circles around both of those characters. Though Puff could be a bit more slippery. I assume we're going to have that ZSS come in for the Mewtwo from Frolf to be used here. I think is probably not the best move because Roy will just eat that Mewtwo alive, I would have to imagine. But at this point, I mean, Northwood has to be feeling pretty good about this. Again, a situation where one player is doing so much of the work that now that the pressure is off the rest of the team, of course, and now they can be a little bit more flexible in what they want to do. But this comes down to whether or not CMU is sticking with the characters we're anticipating here. And we're going to be seeing, it looks like, a Sephiroth. So, speak of that, we're not seeing a character that we're expecting, and it's Chadley coming in. So instead of the ZSS that we were anticipating, it is Sephiroth instead. We're playing swords. Well, I got a little bit more range than you do now.
I definitely like this pick. You totally, completely outrange Roy there. Can't really deal with the speed of Roy because Sephiroth doesn't have the great. Jeez, okay, good lord, Sephiroth does not have the greatest frame data, as we saw right there, getting absolutely dominated that first stock. But what I was gonna say is you're kind of exchanging range for weight. Sephiroth being again in the bottom 6 or 7 lightest characters in the game, but you have so much range and so much kill power that I really think it can be worth it. But I don't think Frostbite cares about that range. I don't think Frostbite cares about anything because Frostbite is absolutely running through the Sephiroth right now. Jesus. Oh my god.
That is an understatement there. That is just crazy. Yeah,
oh my god.
It's unfortunate that CMU has so many tall and light characters apparently, because if this is their Sephiroth pick, then they have a Mewtwo potentially. You have 2 characters that are again light and tall. Not a great combo. Coming from a Ridley main, not a great combo, telling you.
Oh man, yeah, definitely the case here. The character diversity is nice, but I really feel like a lot of the characters just lose to the same stuff. Again, like we're seeing right here. I thought that was going to be a stock earlier for Frostbite on that edgeguard attempt. But right now, another edgeguard here, the Octo Slash coming through, getting through the stage. Almost getting that shield break that would have been huge. Can Chadley manage to take one of these stocks? That's the name of the game right here. We're going to see a back throw. Up air, and no, they are not, as that is stock number 9. 9.
Okay.
Are we going to see a sweep?
I can't believe that we are now in a situation. All right, so we've had what is this? The 4th, 5th, or 6th time now that we've had a player get at least 7 stocks in a row. But now I think it's the 5th, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
We had it because we had 2 last week,
at least
2
4.
this week, and now an additional one this week coming here. Nice. That's a nice little edge guard right there.
Yeah.
Nice and clean. And then
I
of
thought there'd be a
course
stock there.
follow. I thought it was gonna be a stock too, but I mean, to be fair, when your opponent's swinging for the fences right there, that's when you punish hard. And then look at this pressure coming all the way in. Nice gameplay here, and should be a full punish right off of this edge. Oh, actually, air dodging back in. I'm trying to remember what stock this was, but nonetheless, yeah, this is just.
Yeah, almost getting the shield break that would have been huge. I think we're going to see the recovery, and then things to grab into back throw or up throw. Yeah, there you go. And then jumping right into the up air. Fantastic read there from Frostbite. Man, are we going to see 12, Dak? I really want to see 12.
That's the thing. We've had 5 times now in a row where a player has gotten 7 stocks right out of the gate. We've had the record at 11 stocks, and then of course the overall 18 stocks taken. Frost is in a position to do just that. That is crazy. They're at 9 stocks right now. We just had a record set, I think. And now the record's going to be broken. Potentially.
And you know what? With Central Michigan University, the last person on their team being Frolf, we both think that that's going to be Mewtwo. Unfortunately, kind of like you said, this tall, light character that Roy is going to be able to hit with basically everything they throw out. If this does end up being a Mewtwo, again, incredibly light, you're going to be getting KO'd very early. Yep, and is the Mewtwo.
Uh-oh, I don't know, man.
Oh,
this could be 12 stocks.
This might be 12. Oh my goodness. Okay. The fanboy in me is like trying very hard to come out, but I gotta keep professional, Dak. But I want to see 12 so badly.
We need to see 12 to celebrate the birthday of So Good Pop from Northwood. Happy birthday, by the way, to So Good Pop there from the Northwood squad. Frost, you got to do it to celebrate the big birthday. That's what we need to see. 12 stocks to represent the squad and for So Good Pop. And I'm like, okay, please, this is give us a little time here. Let's get ready. Stop it. Right into it still. This is looking already right out of the gate bad. Frost has 2 stocks to work with, and it looks like they're about to tie things up real quickly here. The side B is going to kill. Oh, just barely holding on. Frolf looking for a way back in, and so far the door has been shut on them hard.
Oh my god, Dak, I was ready to lose my mind if he got that read. Oh my, does manage to get that weak hit back here, does manage to get the KO still, and we're down to now what? 3 or 2 stocks left for Central Michigan University. Dak, I think we're going to see the sweep. I think this is the day, this is the time.
Yep, Frost is now 10 stocks. They're looking for their 11th. They'll be tying the record here if they pick up this next stock. And then they're in a position to take an entire team's worth of stocks here. Almost everything else seems insignificant as we're seeing Frost just dominate. And there it is, 11 stocks. They've tied the record, not only of the night, but I think in just Collegiate Smash overall, I'd have to imagine. As now they're looking for the 12th. Can Frost completely wipe an entire team without losing any more than a single stock on their own? That would be incredible.
I didn't even think of that. He's only lost 1 stock this entire time. I didn't even think of that. Oh my goodness. This is just, we thought that first set was domination. That's it. That's
done.
Everybody
12 stocks. Frost does it.
Where were you on September 29th, 2002 at 8:53 p.m. Eastern when Frostbite took 12 stocks? He swept through an entire team. Where were you? I'm going to remember this day for the rest of my damn life because I have been doing collegiate crew battles like you for years now. I have never seen that. I have never seen that.
Maybe it slipped by us off the broadcast, but that is genuinely the first time on broadcast at a Smash Collegiate Crew Battle that I have seen a team have a single player take out all 12 stocks. And not only that, doing it only succumbing once to death. I mean, that is right now the best performance that we've seen here during the fall 2022 season. And it comes from Frostbite from Northwood University. That is incredible. The Roy was firing at all cylinders, not missing a beat, The precision was crazy, and now I'm sure they're ready to get back into this next one. We have the second set of this best of 3 coming your way. Don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss it. It's over in a blink of an eye. The next game of this series coming up between Northwood and CMU will be on the other side of this break.
Oh my god. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League. We are currently in the middle of Central Michigan University against the undefeated Northwood University. And if you missed it, where the hell were you? Because we just saw Frostbite completely sweep 12 stocks Central Michigan University, only losing 1 stock, I believe, with that incredible Roy. And we both thought that was a record. But we actually just got word that Kobo, also on Northwood University, may have taken 24 stocks, a double sweep by themselves in one of their previous off-stream matches. So this is just a team full of just godlike players, apparently, Dak.
Yeah, Koppel's crazy. I was going to say, you said this is a matchup between Central Michigan University and Northwood, but at the moment, it's a matchup between CMU and Frostbite. It's not an entire matchup here. And of course, this matchup between Frostbite and CMU is brought to you by Extra Life. Of course, we want to check that out. You got to play some games to change kids' health, change the future. You want to join Extra Life today. To do so, you want to check them out, extralife.org. Yeah, I think at this point, Frostbite is just setting things off. Yeah, so apparently, I think we'll confidently say that we have a broadcast record. Right?
Yes.
We have a broadcast record set, but I think now we need to set a new broadcast record, because the actual record, as far as we know, is 24 stocks taken, which means Frostbite needs to do it again. He needs to run it back a second time on stream.
Please.
As far as I'm concerned, it needs to happen on stream. And not to say it didn't happen at all, Koppel, of course. 24 stocks is pretty dope. Good for you. And congrats to that. That's awesome. But I want to see it. I want to see it with my own 2 eyes. And I saw it halfway with Frostbite, that first set of the series. Now we're going into the second set. How does CMU change it up? How do they stop the bleeding? And right now, they might need to chop off an arm or a leg or something, because this is a crazy amount of damage they've been taking.
I think at this point, you leave your house, go to your nearest jeweler, grab a crucifix, find the closest church to your local residence, and get on your knees and start praying. Because based on what we just saw, I don't know what else they could really do. That was just like, it's so hard to break down matches when someone is just dominating that much, because it's like we don't even know what Central Michigan was doing wrong, because they never got a chance to do anything. So it's so hard to kind of break that down. But if I'm Northwood, honestly, I just send Frostbite right back in again. Broadcast record 12 stocks. Their teammate off stream got Koppel got 24 stocks, which is literally the best you can do. So maybe a little bit of in-team competition here to see who can, take off the most stocks. We will see. And they are sending. They are the Sora. They are sending. Who is this with the Sora? They're sending Koppel with the Sora. Okay, the gentleman, the person who took 24 stocks off last week, according to our sources, with the Sora. A Sora character you definitely do not see often. There's reasons why this character is kind of a meme. I feel like definitely an underrated character, but a bit of a meme.
Whoa! Sora's did pretty well at Glitch.
Yeah, that's true. I was about to say.
Let's pump the brakes there, guy.
A bit of a meme.
You're right.
Yeah.
We should have Master Chief. We should have got Master Chief.
Hey, yeah, honestly, yeah, you have a point there. But yeah, Sora, definitely a character you don't see often. I feel like an underrated character. I feel like people are just starting to now, almost a year after the character came out. Geez, time flies. Kind of just starting to figure out the finer intricacies of this character. Like you said, did very well like Lich. I believe Kameme. Was it Kameme who did? That got like something.
Yes.
Yeah. Kameme doing really well at Glitch, with Sora getting showcased what this character can do. This character was a meme for a very long time. There are literally Twitter accounts dedicated to chronicling every time this character gets a W, and the account is not very active for reasons. But yeah, definitely a year after the character came out, I feel like now people are starting to kind of just figure out what this character is capable of doing. I think Sora is very underrated and underutilized, and if this is Koppel's main, no, they're going K-Rool. I lied. I knew they weren't going Sora. Man, but either way, we're getting K-Rool, a character you don't see often in standard 1v1s, but is a crew battle maestro, if we're being honest. I've seen so many crew battles with teams that have a K-Rool on it, and they oftentimes do very, very well.
Well, it is nice to see Koble come in. I'm gonna say I'm a bit disappointed that we don't have
Frostbite?
our Roy come in. Yeah, I was really hoping to see Frostbite go for the full 24, but I think you're right. We're gonna see a little bit of an in-team competition. Can Koble get 12 in a row? And they get 11 now. That's starting things off real quick. Only 76%, but this is now a situation where Yosh has been here before, right? They've been the lead 2 times in a row. They got washed the first time. And now they're like, okay, we really need to step this up. But K-Rule on Wi-Fi, first of all.
Yes.
When I think of a character I don't want to play on Wi-Fi, it's literally K-Rule. So Koble has that already down. But you have the super armor you can deal with, obviously the crown. You have a command grab, so whenever things get a little dodgy, you're able to kind of fall back on that and do some really cheesy setups with it. But I think just the air-to-air potential that K-Rule has against Yoshi, I think it goes a bit understated. There's so much that K-Rule can do when they're looking to stop Yoshi from getting on stage, when they want to trade in the air-to-air situations. K-Rule has all those options to deal with it, and there's exactly what I'm talking about. There's that command grab. I mean, if you see K-Rule sitting on a platform, get out of there. Don't approach. You know what's going to happen. And unfortunately, Yosh was not ready to respond. Koble now up 2 stocks.
And I just have to point out, there was a brief section there where Yosh did not touch the ground for about 15 seconds. That K-Roll play, that crown play, everything right now that Koble is throwing out it's just overwhelming. It's just stuffing everything Yosh wants to do. Like I said, there was about a 15-second period there where Yosh did not touch the ground, and you can't be doing that against K-Rool as they do finally manage to take that stock. But you know what? Sitting at 88%, 1 stock left. All Koble needs is 1 opportunity to go with.
No.
Okay. Well, I was about to say
that's when you're getting a little bit overzealous there, when you're starting to charge up full smash attacks to the ledge. Like let's. Oh, that almost. Thankfully, Yoshi just has a little bit of that extra beef there on the shield. It's not going to break, but this is really hard to get back on stage.
Yeah, and Koble needs really just 1 opportunity here, down tilt, a grab into down throw, anything like that. I think even a forward tilt will probably KO at this point, or the neutral B command grab is going to do it, as we see 3 stocks being taken off by Koble, only losing 1. But you know what? That 1 is very, 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 very important. K-Rool being the 2nd heaviest character in the game, it's hard enough to take 1 stock off this character, in a lot of scenarios. So managing to get that 1, hopefully pays, goes a long way for Central Michigan here. But man, that was complete domination from start to finish from Koble. At no point in time did I really feel like Yosh was, even though they took a stock, that I really feel like Yosh had a grasp on what was happening. That really feels like Koble was just in control the entire time.
Yeah, could be another situation where we have an entire team routed by 1 player, but to note that, aside from Yosh, we're actually going to be seeing an entire roster change here from CMU. They're playing 3 new players.
Oh, really?
Aside from Yosh, yes, they're going to be changing up their whole lineup, aside from Yosh that they just put in. So we're not going to see Frolf, we're not going to see Potts, we're not going to see Chadley. So we've talked about this, where sometimes we need to see maybe the bench switch up, not just the character changes, the lineup changes, but literally the players that are on the roster coming in, or like that are being played, that are starting and active in the game, that changing. That could make the difference. This could be a situation where maybe CMU is like, okay, we're going to play some players who maybe need a bit more experience, who want to get some game time in, and now we're going to try the players that we really think will make the difference. And Yosh is the only one that seems that's going to be sticking around. Northwood, I would have to assume, is fielding the same 4 players, which, considering we've only seen 2 of them, I would imagine that is the case. But interesting to see what we see here from CMU, is they're going to be putting in what I have to imagine the first of 3 new players to round out this 2nd set of our 2nd series, and it is a Wario. So far, unless it's Potts playing that from Puff, it's Tremolo instead coming in as the Wario.
And you know what? I do like this Wario pick. Like you said, K-Rool, one of the heaviest characters in the game, the 2nd heaviest character to be exact. But Wario, with that waft, is capable of absolutely deleting stocks from anybody, no matter how heavy you are. And against a character like K-Rool, who's heavy and easy to combo, those wafts are going to be even easier to get if they do manage to get that, that 1 neutral air that Wario looks for. So you know what? I do really, really like this pick. You're kind of just matching explosive kill power with explosive kill power here.
Koble is still such a beast here, though. Like, there's so much shield pressure that comes in with that cannonball. The crown there, almost has a setup up there. Probably wouldn't have killed, would have been very close. Crown's now taken away from them, and That's actually a good way for Tremo to extend some of these combos here, too. Wants to try and hold on to as long as they can, but they Z-drop it at the ledge instead. So Copel has the opportunity to take it back. The trade goes in K-Rool's favor. And Wario is now... They're not going to outweight Copel here either, right? Like, both Tremolo and Copel at the upper echelon here of heavy characters they're using.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and that's why every stock you take from K-Rool is so important, as we see is that neutral B command grab once again coming clutch for Copel. Yeah, Copel just this is just, again, a repeat of game number 1, just absolutely dominating. You know what, Tremolo's getting a couple of things, you know, here and there, but it really feels like no matter who Copel plays, it's just hard for them to really get, you know, just get a grasp of what's happening in the match because of this overwhelming pressure that Copel's throwing on them. Like we're seeing right here, cannonball into forward air. Like this is just, or sorry, to back air, but like this is just, this pressure from Copel is just, I don't know how anyone's gonna deal with it.
Nice, using that nair to get themselves back on stage. The forward air has been such a good tool here for Copel, as that gives K-Rool that extra range to outbox Wario when need be. So does the back air too, but you just gotta be a little more precise in that extra startup time. It's hard to work with a character that's so much airspeed like Wario does. This crown, of course, also really good for those low nair approaches that Wario is using, and then the dash attack is now going to be deadly if that lands clean.
And I love that falling nair coming through from Copel. It's not, you know, it is a bit of a committal move there, but since K-Rool does have such a good recovery, you do have ample opportunity to get back. And all you sometimes need is that one little, you know, nick of a hit to get the opponent off stage enough where they can get a KO. But right now, if you don't notice, Wario does have Waft, which means they are definitely capable of taking off these 2 stocks. If they can manage to get a back air right here and take this 1 stock off of Copel, all you need is 1 conversion to take off that 2nd stock with Waft, which is why Wario is such a dangerous character. As long as you manage to take this 1 stock without wasting that Waft, I think you're in a really good position to beat to beat Copel here.
Great job by Copel, by the way, to use the up air to challenge the crown they were anticipating at the ledge there, but now find themselves again at the ledge. The narrow to send them right back, ping-ponging this K-Rool back out towards the blast zone, again knocking here, and Tremolo is in full control at the moment. Copel is able to stay alive. I mean, both of these characters are at over 160%, as you can see, but it's really just that one strong hit that K-Rool needs, where Wario has been having a hard time. No grabs are being landed. There's the forward air, punishing the dash attack for Tremolo. So Copel now looking potentially to get a really quick kill and hold on to the 2nd stock and get a refresher, but that's going to be a big ask, especially with that Waft ready to go.
And for those who don't know, Wario does keep the Waft between stocks as they do manage to get that down here. And we've all seen what Wario can do. 1 conversion, 1 neutral air, even 1 grab potentially, and that might spell death for Copel. But man, Copel, again, with this overwhelming pressure, I'm sure Copel knows just as well as we do, you do not want to give Wario the chance to get that Waft off. So we're seeing just, again, so many projectiles, whether that's the crown, the cannonball, forward airs, back airs coming through, just doing whatever they can to stuff out the approach of Tremolo, because again, we all know what can happen if Wario gets 1 good hit on you without full waft ready.
I would say so far. Responds to the Waft. The back air sends him right back in the other direction. And Copel will hold on to another stock there. Now, it's not the cleanest start to the set as we saw, and I think that definitely comes in with Tremolo stepping things up in the ante a little bit skill-wise here to come in for CMU. But look at this response here from our K-Rool player. I mean, so far so good. Copel with a fantastic reaction here.
Yeah, and Tremolo kind of alley-ooped himself right into right into that back here, just kind of giving Copel there really a free gift. I don't know, 3 months before Christmas right there, a free gift right there. Good awareness from Copel to react to that Waft as well. I feel like that was a bit of a desperation Waft coming through from Tremolo. Copel wasn't really anywhere, in a position to get hit by it. Either way, Copel holding on to 1 stock. And again, it's really hard to know where you go with Central Michigan, because they have 3 new players, 2 more new players at this point. Yeah. You have counter pick advantage, only 1 stock left from K-Rool. I really think Wario was a really good pick if they managed to get that Waft. Mm-hmm. So I just don't know where you go from here. But again, we don't know what characters they have left in the tank. But yeah, it's just hard to know where to go from here from Central Michigan University, especially since they still have Frostbite in the back.
They still have Sensational.
Northwood does.
We haven't even seen Sensational yet, right? That's crazy.
I just don't know where to go from here from CMU.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what CMU has to bring in terms of the, 2 players. Definitely Tremolo was a step up from what we saw outside of Larry Yosh, and I'm hoping we see not only just a step up player-wise, but character-wise, because we had like a Mewtwo, like a Jigglypuff, like we had the Sephiroth come out, which is a good pick, but still got bodied by the Roy. But the Wario pick, I think, against what Northwood has to offer, is actually a solid go. So, and almost took out Copel as well. Just unfortunately, they just kind of, spiked back down volleyball style by that back air. Really, now it comes down to Copel because they have that 1 stock, and if we're in that competition of who can get the 12 stocks here, it's looking like Frostbite might win this one because Copel has that 1 stock remaining to go and still needs 6 stocks to take out. That being said, they can definitely do it, but K-Rool is a character that can rack up damage, but also gets damage racked up on them, whereas Roy has that extra speed, can be a bit more slippery, so and very often isn't like outright trading as much as K-Rool might be. Like K-Rool puts the body on the line a bit more. You have disjoints from Roy instead. So Copel in that competition might be looking a bit worse for wear. CMU, of course, in the overall competition, certainly looking the most worse for wear. So I'm excited to see what they have to surprise us with their 2 remaining players.
And one thing I'm noticing just looking at CMU's roster of characters that they've used up to this point, Puff, Mewtwo, you saw, Puff, Mewtwo, Yoshi, and Wario in particular. That is 4 characters that really struggle against disjoints. So I just really think that the character makeup of CMU, I'm sure everyone's great individual players, but this character makeup, I feel like they don't complement each other as well as other teams may have done. And we are sending in Young Link. As someone who plays Young Link, does struggle to get KOs, to put it lightly. Will rack up a lot of damage on you. Can have some really cool combos, has some really cute combos. Bomb, Boomerang, really, really nice things. Back here, a really good move too, but does struggle to KO even light characters at times, just based on the fact that they don't have that one kind of raw aerial that they can throw out safely to consistently, again, get KOs. They oftentimes depend on combos and strings, whether that's like Boomerang into forward air, arrow into up air, whatever the case may be, something into an aerial. So they do struggle to get KOs often, but you know what? Again, racking on a lot of damage early on right here. Already 124% on Copel.
I think in this matchup, Young Link probably doesn't really struggle to kill, but no. A reach there by Copel to shut things down. Any momentum that Meraki might have had there, getting just absolutely put down for the count. And are they going to do it again?
Yep.
No way! Just like that, 2 stocks in a matter of 30 seconds or less right there. Or your money back. Copel says no. And yeah, I mean, Young Link has no problem landing hits, but they have to avoid just getting sent away so far on stage, which so far, Copel might just make this a quick 3-0 as well at 158%. Can they hold on to get another stock refresh?
We're gonna start to see Meraki here again. Look for Boomerang into forward air. Oh, that's a punish. Okay, no, good job drifting back to the ledge there, but we're gonna start to see, or you know what, or throwing out that raw up air, and again a little bit of a I don't want to say desperation, but kind of I'm gonna throw it out and see if it works type of move. Did end up working there in the end, but that was 2 stocks lost. That if I'm Meraki, I am kicking myself for losing my stocks in that fashion. You definitely needed those. And we still have 3 characters left on Northwood. Yes, we still have 3. We still have Frostbite with the Roy. We still have Sensational with the Captain Falcon, and So Good Pop potentially with the Wii Fit. This is looking pretty bad, Deck. No way to cut it. No other way to cut it. This is looking pretty bad.
And here's that final stock here that is picked up by Meraki. The up smash will land at some point here, and I believe it's just the second hit that lands on the armor, but on the landing, that 3rd hit finally connects. So Copel will go down. Now, do we see, now that we've seen teams play around with this, like, do they just send in their next player and just be like, all right, let's get it over with? Or do they try to give everyone else some playtime? We haven't seen So Good Pop, and we haven't seen Sensational. Remember, it is So Good Pop's birthday. Happy birthday once again. And I'm thinking, does So Good Pop want to play on their birthday, or is this the birthday gift, not even having to participate and still getting the dub? Personally, just for me, that's what I would be. I'd be like, no, get the win for me. I deserve it. It's my birthday. Or they're like, hey, I want to play. It's my birthday. Let me throw me in. We'll see. At this point, we haven't even seen Sensational. Frostbite waiting in the wings to potentially sweep here. This is looking dire straits for a CMU. They have that young link, but we don't know who their last player is. And who knows? That last player could be a Frostbite level, could be a Copal, could be a Sensational. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, it definitely could be, and yeah, that's why I like crew battles and like collegiate crew battles, because when you're playing with or watching players who play with both uncommon characters and who are just not as known, you never know who's really waiting in the wings. We might have some, closet MK Leo type player coming out next. Maybe not to that degree, but like we might have some just absolute, phenom waiting in the wings who just, was sitting out for a bit, who comes in and maybe, I don't want to say they reverse sweep, but, shows what they can do and kind of matches up with, whoever Northwood wants to send out, whether that's Frostbite, Sensational, anything like that. They may have that player waiting, but even if they do, they still have to take off, 9 stocks off of this 3-0, almost 4-0 team. No matter who they send in, it's going to be a tall ask, a tall mountain to climb. Would not want to be in their shoes at this point.
No, that's certainly an understatement here as we move on to a critical moment for both of these teams. As you mentioned, Northwood is 3-0. So I don't know how many teams are left undefeated. I'd have to imagine that they're one of the few. Most of these teams we've seen, even last week, were 1-1. I think we had 3 1-1 and a 2-0 team there. This week we had a bunch of 2-1 teams, and now just our 3-0 team. Like I said, I mean, I've casted Northwood here in Smash, I believe in Valorant before as well. They are always dominant, so I'm not at all surprised to see Northwood also showing out right here. And we have our last player showing up.
It is Seth.
Or, I'm sorry, our second last player here showing up for CMU. It's once again Meraki, but here we go. Northwood putting in Sensational for the first time of this entire series. This is their next player to jump in. We're not seeing Frostbite, not seeing So Good Pop. It is the Falcon. We're getting a little bit of a treat here to see that sensational Captain Falcon, and I'm happy because if we got a series here that had Sensational and we didn't get to see the Falcon,
I'd be so
like,
disappointed.
money back.
I would have been so disappointed. But yeah, Sensational, a world-class Falcon as we are going to be seeing here. You know what? Playing from behind against projectiles, Falcon can sometimes struggle, but you know what? Their damage output is just so ridiculously good that they oftentimes don't care about having bad matchups. If they get their hands on you, it really doesn't matter. You're taking 20, 30, 40, 50% sometimes from this character. And right now we're seeing, after a bit of a slow start from Sensational, fantastic finish. I was going to say they had a little bit of a slow start, but they had that 30 or so second stretch where they were just absolutely working and getting that raw short hop knee, which you don't see very often, to close out Meraki there. And now Central Michigan down to their last 3, and I think it's safe to say at this point that Northwood University is likely going to walk away with this W, as we're going to see that raw knee coming through really, really soon. You see, try to get that up smash read, and that first hit of Nair also really good option too. Again, just waiting.
The thing is, they didn't even need the short hop knee here either, right? Like the Young Leaguers at 121, like other things would have killed, but I got to go out in style, right? Like that's the thing about Sensational. They know what the people want. Right, he knows what people want, and we want to see Falcon. We want to see the knee, man. I don't want to see you killing someone with up air or back air. Give me forward air, and that's what we got. So I appreciate that. An entertainer at heart, and they are now entertaining a 4-0 record potentially on the brink of it, with just one more player to go through from CMU. It's an unknown player, not unknown player overall, but unknown to us. We don't know who they're going to be fielding. We know it's going to be a new player, as 3 of these 4 players on the roster for this second set are. And we're going to be jumping into it right now. Can Sensational wrap this up for Northwood, or does CMU still have something left in the tank?
And they are setting.
Oh!
Falcon did it.
Oh!
Oh my god! You talked about putting
Yo!
on a show. There aren't many better shows than two Falcons going at it. We're gonna see a lot of knees coming out, a lot of nairs, a lot of spikes, a lot of everything popping through. One of the most fun to watch characters in this game, in my opinion. And as we are seeing, oh my god! Seth, stop! Oh my god! Jesus.
Seth is putting on a clinic right now. 3 stomps in a row. Looking like Seth Rollins out here with these curb stomps. And Brutus air dodging, looking for a little bit of an early opportunity there to get back. Unfortunately, can't get back to the ledge. And now here we go, coast to coast. That is just looking crazy. The Shane McMahon. Sensational. No,
Stop it.
don't
Stop,
do
Seth.
it to him.
Stop
Don't
it.
do it to
Seth,
him.
Stop it.
Come
You're already
on.
up. You don't got to do this.
Oh,
Oh my god, this person has a family at home probably watching. Oh my goodness, and you are doing this to them live in front of all these people, Seth. But I really think right now this has to be, because we didn't see Seth go for any of that fancy stuff in that first game. I really feel like this is just Seth trying to show that I am the dominant Falcon here. I am the better Falcon, and how dare you counterpick me with my own character. And Seth just showing off why they are one of the better Falcons really in the game right now.
and this is full circle because Brutus was the player that was swapped out in the first set for Yosh, and now they're coming back here to fill in as the anchor in the second set when CMU needs it most. But look at this lead, 9-1. No!
Stop it!
Please, no. I'm scared for you if you're going to get hit by that. 129 for Brutus. This could be it. Oh, the side B doesn't spike. It does hit him back onto the stage. Sensational looking for the roll-in. Doesn't come through. And now they're looking to clean things up. Another stomp. It could be a knee, it could be a neutral B, it could be anything from Sensational, but they're looking to clean things up right now, and almost the jab taking it out, going for the side B, trying to put him out with style, falling with style for sure, and now Sensational, the light knee, the second light knee, and that could be enough. No, the up B lands, the raptor boost kills, and now Sensational down to their last stop.
Okay, I think Seth is gonna stop with the fancy stuff and he's gotta clean this up. Gotta clean this up. That's two SDs going for some style there. Hey, I respect it, but you still gotta win at the end of the day. And that down air, not gonna be able to KO off the top. But
Seth
that down
playing
smash
with their food, yeah.
will do it. Yeah, absolutely playing around with their food. And you know what? Of the however many matches we've seen in the 3 weeks we've been broadcasting, that by far the most dominant by any team. Northwood showing off they are now 4-0, previously 3-0, showing off why they are now 4-0. And you know what? I have to say, we haven't seen every team up to this point, but I feel like we have to say like they are the odds-on favorite to at least be the first seed going on in this tournament.
I think you're right. This is, as far as we know, this is the first team we've seen on broadcast still staying undefeated.
Jeez.
And what an understatement that is. Sensational, living up to their name as they usually do, and cleaning things up as the anchor, giving So Good Pop a nice happy birthday and a great birthday present here. Not having to play at all to get a big dub for Northwood. And look at this. This is, I mean, we're talking about play with food. I mean, you're just circling the drain right here for Brutus. Is Sensational is just making it look crazy, making it look easy. If that was, I would have honestly low-key wanted that of all things. The Falcon Punch finish. How often do you see that?
Honestly, it's been a very long time since I've seen a Falcon Punch land like in the middle of a tournament set. One of the most hyped moves in the game on one of the most hyped characters. We saw Seth here drop 2 stocks just trying to style for the fans. That side B that's kind of whiffing. We're going to see another stock get lost here really, really soon. But like, man, I think Seth knew what the people wanted. He knew what the people wanted. Seth knew that they wanted a show, that they want. If you're gonna go out with Captain Falcon, you have to put on a show for the people. Captain Falcon is like the showman's character, so I'm really glad we did get to see Seth. Like I said, one of the better Falcons to really be doing it right now. Again, when the team gets dominated like that, I feel like there isn't much to break down. But one thing, what I want to say, I think was the turning point in this match was Tremolo versus Copel. Because if Tremolo managed with that Wario, if they managed to get a waft and to take a KO without the waft and then get the waft after, that would have completely changed the makeup of this set going forward. Now, do I still think Northwood would have eventually won? Yes, I do. But if Tremolo managed to take those 2 stocks off of Copel's K roll, this would have been a completely different set. And we do actually have an interview with Northwood University coming up right now, and boy, do I have some things to ask. And we are here with Seth Sational. How are you doing, my friend? How are you feeling after that domination? And you know what? If you want to talk some trash, you earned it.
I'm feeling good. I don't have anything particularly negative to say. I'm sorry if that disappoints, but it was all just fun.
So I gotta say, like, when Frostbite took those 12 stocks, what was the mood with your team after that? Were you trying to have like a competition to see who could take off the most? Because I saw y'all sent out Kopo after that. Was it a competition to see who could take off the most stocks, or to see who can style on the other team a bit more? Like, what was the mindset there?
You know, it's unspoken, but I feel like there's always that competition there, especially with the four of us all being on this team. It's hard to tell which one of us is better than the other. So anytime, we're always fighting to go first, and we're always trying to show out the hardest when we go out. But so far, I think at some point during this league, Copel has swept a team, maybe two. Frostbite's done it. I did it last week. We're running out of ways to prove ourselves to each other.
That's for sure. And considering we're halfway through the regular season, it's still wild how much you've been able to accomplish so far. With that in mind, I mean, your team is 4-0, probably one of the few 4-0 teams left in the season. How do you, I guess, keep your team fresh in terms of like, okay, like maybe we're not being challenged too much. Like, how do we keep focused and not underestimate our team? I mean, CMU came in with a completely different team swap and gave you a little bit more pressure that second set. So how do you kind of keep the team focused, knowing that, okay, we're doing really well, we don't want to start to get sloppy?
Well, we just we keep our eyes on the goal. We want to win the whole thing. I know all of them. I'm here in LA, but the rest of my team is in Northwood in Michigan, and I know they all are going to locals. We host a local at Northwood in Midland, so every week they're playing with each other, they're playing with other people. And on top of that, we have my coach, Jacob, who is constantly researching everybody in the league, every character they use, every crew battle that happens in the league. He keeps the data on all that. He keeps us updated on what we might have to expect. So we're never taken by surprise.
And Seth, I asked this to every single team. Obviously, you've had a long and successful Smash career. You've represented yourself very, very well. But how does it feel to be a part of not just a team, but to be representing your school on this kind of stage?
It feels unreal. I never would have thought, never in a million years, my entire career leading up to this, I would have never said I would play actually professionally or for a college, you know, like a professional sport type thing. That was never me. That was never in my goals. But man, am I lucky for it to happen.
And it's definitely great to see y'all doing so well for your team and for yourselves. I know you all are 4-0, so congrats to that. Are there any? I mean, you mentioned your coach researching all these different teams. Are there any teams out there that you're thinking, oh, maybe it might give us a challenge if we run into them, or do you just feel like you're going to sweep the whole regular season?
I think you cut out a little bit for me. I don't know if I'm cutting out too. But if I understood what you asked correctly, in terms of teams we're looking out for, you'd honestly have to ask Jacob. It's we put a lot of responsibility on him, and then we just let him direct us. I'm not sure what the better teams are. I'm sure he's told me before, but I'm just kind of waiting for it to be the team we're playing that week. You know, I'm doing it on a week-by-week basis.
Okay, Seth, we're going to let you go. Congratulations once again on being 4-0. And tell Sogan Pop from that happy birthday from everybody at Nay Star League. Go have fun, celebrate your win, but please be back next week because I really want to see you guys dominate some more.
1 second. I think I'm going to have to reconnect because it's...
Well, we had that interview.
Well, we disconnected. We disconnected.
Sorry,
we hope he's doing
there.
good. Yeah, we go. Yeah. If you listen back and put the stream on, thanks for joining us for that interview. We appreciate you joining us, and of course, congrats on the 4-0 on the season so far. There's still half the regular season to go, and a lot more sweeps potentially ahead of you. So yeah, that was great. It was good to hear from him.
But before we head out for the week, we have to give a big shout out to every single sponsor that made this tournament possible. Extra Life, Corsair, Monster, BetterHelp, Duncan, and Mavix. With Extra Life, change kids' health to change the future and join our super team page today. That is at extralife.com. Again, fantastic sponsors. Nothing would be possible without them. And Dak, this was honestly probably the most exciting week we've had up to this point. That was incredible, Smash Bros.
No, you're definitely right. And it's been awesome to see these teams compete. And it is awesome to see all these teams compete across all the great games that we have here at NACE Star League. Of course, Smash on Thursdays. Tomorrow, be sure to catch us for Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, CSGO on Fridays. And then we're back to kick the week off, Rocket League on Mondays, and then Call of Duty and Valorant, the nice double header there on Wednesdays. There's always the awesome collegiate action here at NACE Star League, and you never miss it if you keep up with this schedule.
But that is going to be it for us. This is Mies and Dak. We are signing out. Again, this was probably one of the most exciting weeks we've had, and you know what? The rest of this season is looking to be just as good, if not better. Only 4 weeks left. Coming down to the wire.
By the way, I want to give a shout out here before we sign off. I want to give a shout out to Squid Plumber, who was in one of our matches from last week on the, I believe, the Shenandoah team. They got 7th at Glitch this past weekend. Yep. They did, so it was actually really awesome to cast Squid Plumber during the week, and then I'm watching Glitch, I'm like, hey, I know you. That was awesome. So congrats to Squid Plumber on that 7th place. Of course, congrats to both of our winning teams here tonight. And yeah, it was awesome for myself, Dak, alongside Mies, and of course here at NACE Star League. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been week 4 of the NACE Star League 2022 fall season, and we will see you next time, next Thursday here for Smash, and of course tomorrow for CSGO. Have a good night.
A great night, everybody.